Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC part solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
What time is it? Game time. What time is it? You know what time it is. It's football season, and it's the big fella, Lorenzo Neal. Join me and Evan Giddings every home game for the kickoff show, live at the Laughing Mock Gastropub, Sunnyvale, right around the corner from the stadium. We're talking Niner football and hosting the best game day tailgate in the Bay. Laughing Mock Game Day is the faithful's first stop with games, prizes, free parking, and a shuttle straight to the stadium. Righteously brewed in San Francisco and faithfully brewed for the family.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMC FM at HD1 San Francisco.
Odyssey Sports Station and the home of the Golden State Warriors and Valkyries. Always live on the free Odyssey app and now coming to you live from the Laughing Monk Studios.
It's time for the kickoff show.
What a win for the 49ers!
It's Sunday, and we're locked in on the red and gold.
What a run by George Kittle!
Locked in from Laughing Monk Brewing down here in Sunnyvale on the site right before the home opener of the San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals. What's going on, everyone? The kickoff show. Evan Giddings, Lorenzo Neal. It's a beautiful day. Sun not out yet low, but as everyone continues to file in, the haze will burn off a little bit, and we'll get ready for that 125 kick. What's happening?
No worries, man. What's buzzing, cousin? It's another beautiful day on Sunday, and it's football time. And I love it because I love to see this weather because we know who they're going to try to keep contained today, and that's little Kyler Murray, as I like to say it. And I'll tell you right now, when the sun is not out and you're not as hot, I think those Niners got a great chance of keeping that little guy in the box. But very, very excited. I mean, this is unbelievable. First game at home, the Niners, what they've done thus far on the road in Seattle, in New Orleans, finding a way to be 2-0. Oh, boy, I'll take it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're setting up a game that if you told me that your starting quarterback was going to miss one game, your starting tight end was going to miss essentially 1.5 games, you're going to have a banged-up offensive line, your defense is going to be a bunch of rookies, you got a whole bunch of moving parts, and your football team, after 2 road games, irrelevant, the opponent to me is erroneous in this conversation, and you're 2-0, that to me, I wouldn't have guessed it. I thought that this 49ers team, based on what they've had to go through so far, would probably be a 1-1 group. But instead, for the home opener, where I thought last week you hear Brock Purdy goes down, he's officially out for this game today. I'm like, oh, well, that's going to be tough for everyone getting to Levi Stadium. But now, Lo, there seems to be a bit more belief surrounding Mac Jones and this 49ers team because of what they've done through the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, they really, really battled and played well in New Orleans. And, Arizona beat New Orleans, too, beat New Orleans as well. But for the Niners to travel, to go on the road into a hostile environment, in a situation where the Niners were, the Saints were up against the wall, back against the wall, and you go on to New Orleans and go out there, and defense did a great job. Offense, Mac Jones able to orchestrate touchdowns, not turning the ball over, understanding what he needed to do, taking the sack when he needed to, throwing the ball away when he needed to. I thought he had a very efficient, and this Niners team played complementary football, which led to a big win for this Niner team.
I think it was easy to see why Kyle Shanahan likes Mac Jones in that one game. And look, he's not a perfect quarterback. Obviously, you'd love to see Brock Purdy out there, but compared to some of the backups they've had in year past, Mac Jones is a guy that started 49 games in the NFL. This is a guy who has been to the playoffs as a starter. He's someone who has been a part of a national championship in college. Obviously a former first-round pick. And I think that Kyle Shanahan, the connection with him obviously dates back to the draft 5 years ago when he went with Trey Lance instead of Mac Jones. But still, you're able to see just in the first game, really I thought in the first couple of series, of why his skill set fits someone like Kyle Shanahan's system. And the fact that he went out there and threw 3 touchdowns, I almost couldn't believe it. But then when you watch it unfold, it makes sense.
Yeah, it really does. And the way that he went out there and played calm, cool, collective, didn't take a lot of chances. He was able to thread the ball in there, threw a lot of passes. Some of the passes could have been caught. Yes, you have to be lucky also. Mm-hmm. And you think about just where he's been. He went to a tough place. He gets drafted in New England, able to ride the ship, play some good years there. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily there's 2 types of athletes and 2 types of quarterbacks in my opinion. One's a thermostat, and like I always say, another one's just a thermometer. See, a thermometer, you know what it does? It just measures temperature. It just, here it is. This is what the temperature is. A thermostat, it regulates. You talk about the Tom Bradys. You talk about the Josh Allens. You look at the guys that are around this league, the Patty Mahomes. You look at Lamar Jackson. Those guys, and Brock Purdy as well, they're thermostats. Mm-hmm. Those guys can make the team up. I mean, they can go out there and take over games and do things that a lot of quarterbacks can't. And Mac Jones, man, he's that thermometer. He's just going to give you the temperature, what it reads. I'm going to play well. He can play well within himself. Don't ask him to go out and take over games and throw for 400 or 500 yards. Can he do it at times? Possibly. But does he have that sustainability to do it? I say probably not. And that's why he's traveled a little bit. But when you look at just the quarterback position, let's take a guy that got drafted before him and look at where he's at today. A guy that they drafted, spent a lot of capital, and you talk about, hey, should they get Mac Jones or they're going to go in another way, and they took Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, yeah.
But you look at Trey Lance today. You look where he's at with the Chargers. You saw how efficient he's become. So when you think about some of these guys at times, they're put in positions to start and have success, and they're just not ready. I think that you have a guy in Mac Jones that wants to be a starter in this league again. He understands what's at stake. I love the position that he's in. You and I, we spoke about it last week that, hey, he's built for this moment. He wanted to be a Niner. He understood he was going to have an opportunity. We talked about different quarterbacks that come to the Niners, and after they leave here, they have an opportunity to start, but they are a better player than they were when they got here. You think about who Seattle has as quarterback. You think about where he was before Seattle, Minnesota, but where before Minnesota? Right here in San Francisco, and you have to realize it revitalized this young man's career. Everyone said, hey, this guy's now just going to be a backup. He's done because he was a first-round pick, went to the Jets, went to Sam Darnold, went to several places. Oh, this guy is not good enough. He can't do it. And look what happened when he came here. He always give praise to Kyle Shanahan, also to Brock Purdy, what they taught him, what did he said he was going to put in his tool shed, what he was going to put in his briefcase, what he was going to keep as a tool for the next place where he went, and that's what you're seeing. So I really believe that Mac Jones is in a great position to have success, not only success for the San Francisco 49ers until Brock Purdy gets well, but in the future, this guy will have another opportunity if he continues to play football like he's playing now.
And it's interesting you bring up Sam Darnold because Sam Darnold got one start with the San Francisco 49ers. It was a Week 17 in a game that was meaningless. And though they lost, that was his chance to showcase his skills. Last week was a game that mattered. I mean, Mac Jones, if they lose that game, obviously they're a 500 football team. And the fact that they won that game and he played well, I think not only made him a lot of money, but is going to set him on the track to in the future, to your point, eventually become a starting quarterback. What he does for the San Francisco 49ers is he gives them an opportunity to win football games. And that's exactly what a backup quarterback is supposed to do. When he inked that 2-year, $6 million deal this summer, yes, he knew that he was taking a back seat. But with the opportunity of Brock Purdy, who has missed some games throughout his regular season career, he figured if I get a chance to start, I'm going to get a chance to shine. And I'm going to get a chance to promote myself and showcase my skills in a system that's built for me, as opposed to last year where, as the backup, he's in Jacksonville.
Right.
There's a lot of things going wrong in Jacksonville, players breaking down. The franchise is not as stable, certainly, as San Francisco. And so now he's here, And whether he gets one chance, now he's got a second chance this week, whether he has to play it down in the future, he's going to be in a much better position to succeed as a quarterback.
Yeah, and that's one of the aspects of it. And here's the thing, like you just alluded to, you touched on a little bit. When you come to San Francisco and you're a quarterback, the way that Brock Purdy plays, the chances and the risk that he will take in order to win, because that's just who he is and he's not going to change. He's a smaller in stature. It's not that he's not durable, but you have to realize he's going to have there's going to be some opportunities for this guy to get hurt.
He's susceptible.
Exactly, because the way that he plays, he's fearless. He's going to push it. He leaves everything out on the field. He takes chances. So you look at, here's a guy, when you're thinking about, hey, where's a place I can go? It's the Niners, especially because you know Brock Purdy, and that probably had something to do with Mac Jones also saying, hey, I might get a chance to play here because I know how Brock Purdy pushes the ball down the field. I know that this guy, instead of taking the sack, he's going to scramble and try to get out of harm's way. I know this guy's going to possibly get injured, and I'm going to have the opportunity. I mean, you got to realize he's going to probably start 3 weeks. This is this week, maybe even next week. You have an opportunity to continue. And you have to realize, if you play well and you do what you need to do today, if he does, Mac Jones does what he needs to do today, and find a way to win this football game and looks good, why do you rush Brock? Why would you rush a guy back that you know with the turf toe, it can linger for months, possibly, and if it becomes chronic, it can linger for your whole career. This turf toe, man, is not something that people like. Oh yeah, when you have a turf toe and it doesn't heal correctly, or if it's nagging, if you get on it too early, it can just hamper you. I mean, the great late Steve McNair, I remember him having turf toe and watching on game day, them shoot it inside of his toe, and then he's in the walking boot for the next 3 or 4 days. And they had to do this week in and week out into the offseason just to try to heal. So, and you see how his toe begin to get swollen, see the inflammation, and you see all the things that can happen. So this turf toe is a very, very serious injury, and people just think, oh, it's just your toe. You can get by. You can play. It's not so.
That's Lorenzo Neal. My name is Evan Giddings. We're live here at Laughing Monk Brewing. We got a bunch of stuff set up for you. We got great food, great drinks. We got a ball toss in the back. Lowe's trying to throw footballs. I mean, we got a dog out here. We got Jesse. We got Danae. We got Kalia. We got TJ. We got Sam. We got Matt Nahegans in the house.
Yes, Matt's here. The
Big
boss
Hefe.
here. Yeah, but the dog is the one thing that's legendary. We got to talk about your dog here.
Okay.
I mean, his dog is absolutely beautiful. It's an unbelievable beautiful. Right now, he's trying to bite through a rope that he has no teeth.
He has no teeth.
His tongue hangs out of his mouth about 3 inches. This dog could be kin to Michael Jordan. You should put this dog in the next Jordan movie. Send some pictures. Where can people go look at? You guys think you're like, well, Lo, this is kind of weird. You're on a tangent. Please, where can they find pictures of this dog?
All right, so this dog's name is Tuna. And this dog has no teeth, so that's why the tongue hangs out of his mouth. You can go to his Instagram, which is @TunaWithTheTongue, and check him out if you'd like. But he's going to be here hanging out all day.
He's beautiful.
Everyone from 95.7 The Game is rolling through. We already got folks in 49ers jersey. I see a Brock Purdy, number 13.
Yes.
Wish he was out there on the field. We got 10 a.m. games, obviously, that are just kicked off, so come down, watch the games, get ready for the 1:25 kickoff, the home opener. We got a shuttle. If you need to park your car here, you can get a shuttle to the stadium. You can get it back. You can be safe, have a drink. It's a fantastic venue for some football. So,
it really is.
I mean, this is what we got set up today. And to your point about Mac Jones and Brock Purdy,
right.
I do think that every game that Mac Jones wins is another week that Brock Purdy should sit. And like if last week won the football game, okay. And I know that Brock Purdy was a limited participant in practice.
Right.
He's out there on the field doing individual drills. No need to play Sunday.
No.
If somehow Mac Jones can win this football game and get you to 3-0, I think that pushes another week. And you got Jacksonville coming up after that, a football team that has not looked so great for 2 weeks. Exactly.
Right.
You should beat with Mac Jones. I mean, we talked about this last week. Just because you're going on the road with a backup quarterback doesn't mean that someone like Mac Jones isn't the better quarterback than Spencer Rattler. So just because it's starter to backup sort of situation, Mac Jones has been a starter in this league. He's a better quarterback at this stage in his career than Spencer Rattler.
Agreed.
Next week, he should have an advantage against a team like that if obviously they can get past Arizona.
Yeah, and today, for me, it's simple. If this game was played in Arizona, I would sit here and say, I like Arizona. It's tough. They, found a way to win 2 on the road. Seattle went tough to win on the road, but you had Purdy. Now you're talking about you beat the Saints. But this game is at home. I think that you have a better chance of winning this game today. So I really believe this Niner team very rarely can start off 3-0. But, yeah, you're absolutely right. If this team can continue to thrive with all the injuries, I mean, with the injuries that this team has acquired this far this year in 3 weeks, it's just like, oh, my goodness, what's next? I mean, Trent's been out.
Kyle Shanahan's going to pop an Achilles.
I know. He's just like, he's got to just be stressing, seeing these guys, barely getting any practice time, seeing these guys a day-to-day, limited practice. I know Juszczyk went out last week, concussion. Yep. I mean, just watching guys that are nucleus of this team have gone out, and still guys have stood up and showed out and performed. And I got to do it again, and I know we did it last week, but you got to do it again this week. This defense, Robert Saleh and what he's been able to do, 5 new starters. When you look at this, Ev, what have you seen? What has been the biggest takeaway just, defensively?
I think you have to compare them to last year, and they look fast. I mean, and I know some of these players are the same ones from last year, but I don't know he's got these guys playing fast and violent, and that to me is the ultimate combination. When you don't have to look like you're thinking, like you're backpedaling on defense, which is a lot of times last year it felt like there's, for example, James Conner gets the ball for the Arizona Cardinals last year, week 5. Defense is they're on their heels. They're moving backwards, whereas Arizona's pushing the pile forward. Now, the first 2 weeks, Seattle's probably a little bit more of a tougher test than New Orleans, but New Orleans has Olave. They got Kamara. They got some weapons, certainly, on offense, and it felt like there was minimal yards after catch. There were guys rallying to the football. You're seeing fresh faces like D. Winters being shot out of a cannon and getting to the football, rallying to the football. So the thing that stood out to me the most about on the defensive side is just how fast this team is. And I don't think it's a coincidence that, to your point, they bring in 5 new starters. A lot of them are young. A lot of them have fresh legs. And a lot of them are players that have nothing but Robert Saleh to trust in, and he has not done them wrong so far.
And I agree. So many guys, sometimes you're a veteran, and you've done it the way that you've done it. The veterans, the nucleus that are here, you're talking about, the guys that are still here, they've known Robert Saleh. Nicky Bosa, you think about Freddie Warner, they know. So now you have a bunch of other young guys that's saying, okay, and you have your veteran leaders on defense saying, follow this blueprint, and we will have success. And like you said, they haven't been tainted. They're not trying to do it their way. So they're saying, we're going to follow this blueprint, and we're going to execute it. And that's what's big. I think another takeaway for me, just talking about last week's game, a big takeaway, is watching the quarterback. The quarterback for the Saints, mobile. Quarterback from the Saints, athletic, fast. I'm not saying he's got more wiggle than Murray, but, I mean, the guy can play. He can move. He throws the ball. He can throw the ball. He's accurate. So you as a defense, you got to say, okay, we played against a pretty mobile quarterback last week, and now we have to do it again this week. I don't think there's a huge difference in these quarterbacks. So I think that they've been prepared for this moment because of last week.
Well, and you also got now, compared to last year, it feels like some closers. Bryce Huff is a guy that they identified this offseason as someone who could come in and be a pass rush specialist. And what did he do? The last play of the game against the Saints, shot out of a cannon, bends around the edge, gets to the quarterback, and ends that football game. So not only is it guys, across all 3 levels ganging up, chipping in, but it feels like now between Bosa, between Warner, Bryce Huff, they got some Mariano Rivera's. They got some closers.
Yeah, they do, baby. They got some guys that said, let's close. We got some Niner fans.
Fans rolling in.
They're rolling in, baby. They're ready.
There we go.
They're ready to get it going, baby. So it's going to be absolutely awesome just to watch this game today because people are fired up. They're already coming in here. The Laughing Monk, come on down here, hang out, and tell them, big fella, I'll even buy you a beer or two. Let's get it going.
Come on, man.
But, yeah, I love the way you talked about this defense is finding a way to close 2 weeks in a row when the game is not in the balance. The game is not close. You have closers that say, let's close it out. Let Bosa, like 2 weeks ago against Seattle, this week another guy steps up and makes it happen. You want to see that. You want to continue to see your team flourish, especially defensively. I always said offense entertains, defense wins championships. And since we're talking about defenses, we're talking about teams around the league, you look at Green Bay. What are them boys doing? They're humming. They're playing great defense. Hey, let's go down south where you and I love. How about them Chargers? You see the way. Look what Geno Smith, the week before, averaging had 8 big shots. The shot plays, the chunk plays, 20 yards or more, big plays down the field, against, a team that's pretty good with Ray Vrabel, what Vrabel has been able to do, and so watching the Chargers defense, keeping everything in front of them, it's sort of like watching the Niners, keeping everything in front of them. They're not giving up big plays. Defenses win you games, and you seeing now that the Niners this year, thus far, the defense is what we're accustomed to. The defense is what people have been talking about for the last 3 years when Robert Saleh's departure. It's like, what about the defense? Even when they got to the Super Bowl, even in that year, it was like the defense isn't set the same. Something's missing. And it seems like just the continuity and the heartbeat of this defense, what it used to be, to me, seems like it's looked like it's coming to fruition.
I think so. And to your point, there's really only one explosive play that I can recall that they have allowed, and that was on the final drive against Seattle,
right.
The shot down the sideline to Jackson Smith and Jigba. But that's been it. There's been no explosives. To your point, I thought they played the last 2 drives against the Saints perfectly. You have your new punter, Thomas Moorhead, pin them inside the 10-yard line twice. And instead of saying, all right, well, we're going to try and get greedy, we're going to try and get aggressive, we're going to try and move even further back towards the end zone, we're going to make you go 94 yards.
Right.
We're going to make you go 90 yards. And if you can have 6 yards here, you can have 5 yards here, but you're not getting anything deep because we don't believe that you can construct a 10 to 15 play drive and punch it in and get 6. And so I think as much as to your point talking
right.
about a team like the Chargers, like it's very process based.
Right.
And so
right.
while you might get a play here, you might get a play there, over the course of 6 or several minutes, our defense is going to make one play to ruin your drive.
Evan, you're absolutely right, and that's what I love that they're doing again. It's saying, look, if you want to beat us, you're going to have to be perfect because we're going to make you do a 15, 16, 17 play drive. Hard to do.
Yeah.
Very hard to do without big chunk plays. Yeah. You saw that, like you said, against Seattle. Yes, and Jigba got the big play on the sideline in the game, but the defense found a way to close. Mm-hmm. But think about it. Think about the drives before that. We kept them under 100 yards. They were, 3 yards. They had long drives, red zone. The defense would clamp down. When you have to drive the ball that long and you have to have consistency, you're eating up time on the clock. Guys start to get frustrated. Guys start to lose faith when you say, man, we did all this long drive and we got 3. We did this long drive and we didn't get anything. They stopped us. You're tired because even though you're having a long drive, it's still taking a lot of energy out of your offense, and especially when you're just like 4, 3, 2, okay, 3, and all of a sudden, bam, you lose 5. And now you're back at it again, and then there's a time where you break down, and that's what Saleh has these guys believing. It's guys, pay attention to the details, do your job. It's sort of what Patriots used to do back in the day when Belichick's there. It's like everyone just do your job, and teams won't have a sustainable drive because it's too hard to do in the National Football League consistently. So I think they're doing a great job with consistency, making other teams feel uncomfortable in their drives, and that's why you see a lot of mistakes.
Well, and you think about some of the personnel on this team, and I know that there's a ton of fresh faces, but it does appear week in and week out through the first 2 weeks that the decisions that were made about some of these mainstays, about some of these, I would say, cornerstone pieces were the right ones. I mean, Dre Greenlaw, for example, for the Denver Broncos, was just put on IR with a hamstring injury. This is a guy that everyone loves. Big play Dre has been a big part of two teams that have gotten to Super Bowls, and he's someone that the Niners decided to move on from because they didn't believe he was going to be able to stay on the field. If he's out there, to your point, you say this all the time, when he's well, he's hell, but he's not on the field. And so now you're looking at someone like D. Winters, who is stepping into that role, and though he's not Dre Greenlaw of old, you're starting to realize, well, maybe this guy's got some talent. And with Robert Saleh orchestrating with Fred Warner right next to him, it's looking like the right decision, even though, of course, everyone has a lot of love for someone like Greenlaw.
Oh, no, you're and that's with no disrespect. No, that's tongue-in-cheek. You're not saying anything about Greenlaw. You're not saying that he's not one of the elite and one of the better linebackers in the league, and that's why Denver rolled the dice.
Yeah.
Because they rolled the dice because they knew what the potential was. The Niners said, we're rolling the dice because we know what the downside is, and they said, you can have that dice because we're rolling the dice in elsewhere because of the fact they have seen what has taken place while he was here, and it's not an indication or an indictment on his football ability and his football skills. It's an indictment on his being able to play, on his availability. And they always say it's a little saying they say in the league, you can't make the club in the tub, and you're injured. And Greenlaw knows, that's one of the things that go with it. But hey, this guy can play. But you look at D. Winters and look at the guy. He doesn't hit like that, doesn't fly around like that, doesn't knock guys out like that, but he's being consistent, and he's getting his opportunity, and he's showing that he's durable, and that's what you need. You can't have a lot of guys injured. If you have that, if you continue to have that, your cupboards get bare and barer, and now all of a sudden your backups that are playing special teams now are starting, and they're playing special teams, and you suffer. So people don't understand. When you have guys, 2 and 3 guys that are on special teams, now you ask those guys to start. And now you ask those guys to start. Guess what? Your special teams is going to suffer. Their starting is going to suffer because of the fact they haven't done it on that level. They come in for 2 or 3 plays, and then they're out to guys pick their shoe or rub out a cramp, and then they sub them back out. So you suffer greatly when you don't have your starters in a position for success.
And speaking of special teams, I don't know about you. When I saw that first extra point missed by Eddie Pinheiro, I was like, oh, here we go again. But then Steady Eddie steps in, knocks down a 44 and a 46. And it's just a feeling of when you see the ball go through the uprights and down the middle, that's how it should feel. It should feel like when a kicker steps onto a field, 3 points are going on the board from whatever distance. And so that's just, I don't know, because God love Jake Moody. But, man, last week was such a complete difference, especially when you're going up there and you're getting 6 of the 7 points.
Without a doubt. It's especially when it's the chip shots. When you look at the National Football League, and yeah, Jake Moody, we knew that. We always said it. We talked about before this season. I said, this is going to be a problem. I said, you cannot go into this season with this guy. And listen, I don't want to talk about nobody's chicken, his turkey. He deserves to make his money. I hope nothing but the best.
He'll probably get another shot somewhere.
And the thing about it,
Chicago.
It's above the shoulders. This guy is a good kicker. He has the leg. He has the ability. You saw it in preseason. He hits a 58-yard field goal. And now he gets in a game and chip extra point. This guy misses because it's above the shoulders. So he's just got to get his head right, hope the best. But we look at this National Football League, and you're talking about kickers and special teams. Man, look at Dallas, 64-yard field goal. Look at had 10 yards left to go. So you have to realize a 30, 20-yard field goal, those are – You just can't miss those every other game. Yeah, we know every now and then you're going to miss one, but when it's every other game or you're holding your breath every single game, you change the mindset of what your head coach is going to do. How many times now have you seen Kyle Shanahan in a position that, it's 3rd or 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, where he changes what he's going to do predicated on his kicker? Now you see him like, look, let's just kick it. He don't even want to look. I mean, when it's a chip shot, he's like, I'm not even looking. It should go in. So that has played a big factor on the Niners and what their decision was to go in another direction. But I think that now you'll see Shanahan, get back into do what he wants to do offensively, because when you have a kicker that has shown that type of inconsistency, it changes the way your mindset of your head coach.
Lorenzo Neal, Evan Giddings getting you ready for the home opener, 125 Levi's Stadium. The San Francisco 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals. We are live here at Laughing Monk. We got ball toss. We got football toss to the back. We got cornhole, a ton of of great people. Hefe's here, Kalia's here, Dana here, Jesse here, Lowe's always here. We got even Tuna here, TJ, Sam. Everyone's having fun. People roll on in, enjoy, grab a couple drinks before you head over down, of course, to Levi's Stadium. Bang, bang, Niner gang, as always. We'll step aside, come back. We got more rolling for you here on the Kickoff Show. We're back after this on 95.7 The Game.
Football is back, and so is your shot at big wins. With DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite QBs, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THEGAME. That's code THEGAME. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside. In partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Since I've been in recovery, I could write a novel of the good things that happened to me. I finished college. I've held great jobs. It's never too late to recover from addiction. I am living proof that recovery is possible.
Get treatment. It works. To learn more, visit livingproofsf.org.
What time is it? Game time. What time is it? You know what time it is. It's football season, and it's the big fella, Lorenzo Neal. Join me and Evan Giddings every home game for the Kickoff Show, live at the Laughing Mock Gastropub, Sunnyvale, right around the corner from the stadium. We're talking Niner football and hosting the best game day tailgate in the Bay. Laughing Mock Game Day is the faithful's first stop, with games, prizes, free parking, and a shuttle straight to the stadium. Righteously brewed in San Francisco and faithfully brewed for the fans.
Hi, this is Brian Bakhtiari, Executive Manager of Stevens Creek Subaru. The fall season is upon us. That means football, baseball playoffs, and kids back in school. At Stevens Creek Subaru, this is one of our favorite times of the year. Fall is also when we get our first rains of the year. And that means dangerous road conditions. That is, unless you drive a Subaru with symmetrical all-wheel drive. Subarus are built for any road condition or terrain, whether it's a drive to the coast or up to the snow. The safest pick is a Subaru.
This month, lease a new 25 Crosstrek for just $239 per month. Just $239 a month for a new Crosstrek from Stevens Creek Subaru in San Jose. 36-month lease, no security deposit needed. $24.95 due at signing, plus tax, license, and registration fees. Includes $85 dealer documentation fee and first month's payment. Acquisition fee $650. 15 cents per mile over 10,000 miles per year with Tier 1 approved credit. $300 disposition fee. One at this payment. VIN number JF2GU ABC 8SH271247. Stock number 1250885. Offer expires end of month. See Stevens Creek Subaru for details.
On Stevens Creek Boulevard or online at StevensCreekSubaru.com. Buckle up and drive safely.
Fall is the season for reinvention, and it's easy to do at Macy's Fall Favorite Sale. Come in and find your new favorite styles, like romantic ruffled dresses, chic trenches, cashmere sweaters, and textural fall layers, which are perfect for mixing and matching. All for 20 to 50% off. So if you're looking for your new favorite things, look no further than the Fall Favorite Sale. Today, only at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Some people just know you can save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like you know to check the weather first, before wearing face paint to the game.
Bro, your Go Cats is dripping into your nachos.
Oh, and now paint is in my eyes.
Interception! Did you see that?
No!
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first and see what you could save. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Potential savings vary, including based on how you buy, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Join Lorenzo Neal and Evan Giddings at Laughing Monk Brewing in Sunnyvale every red and gold home game this season for our special live pregame broadcast. Plus, we'll have tailgate games, prizes, great food, and drink specials. For more information, visit 957thegame.com.
Now back to the kickoff show on 95.7 The Game.
What's happening, everyone? Evan Giddings, Lorenzo Neal, live from Laughing Monk Brewing in Sunnyvale, on site for the home opener, week 1 of the Niners and the Cardinals, 125 kick. We got people rolling in. We also got a guest coming up in just about 30 seconds, or 30 minutes, which I'm looking forward to. Your guy, Larry Sitters.
Little Larry, baby. Larry Sitters, baby, number 37. Love that guy.
So little Larry, he didn't seem too little to me.
I call him Little Larry. Little Larry, no, I call him Little Larry. Love Larry. Larry played for the Arizona Cardinals. Great fullback. I think the greatest fullback to ever catch the ball out of the backfield. One year he caught over 100 passes as a fullback. Unbelievable. Love what Little Larry brings to the table. Can't wait to get him on and talk a little bit, talk shop. What's going to happen in the game today?
Yeah, so the news right now is that Brock Purdy is officially out for this game. Juwan Jennings also out for this game, Lo. That was something that did not happen last week. He had a big game against the New Orleans Saints. Obviously, that 46-yard touchdown across the middle, which helped give the Niners a 2-score lead in that third quarter. So Juwan Jennings, who injured his shoulder against Seattle, didn't finish that game, also dealt with an ankle injury last week, didn't practice this week, is going to be out for this game. So while I think most people assume that the quarterback, Brock Purdy, was not going to be playing in this game, they're now down a wide receiver. And so it's basically the Ricky Pearsall show right now.
It's got to be the Ricky Pearsall show right now. And I'll tell you right now, I'm losing, no question, Jennings. Third and Jennings, that's a big loss because what Jennings brings to the table, he's a guy that can go up and get the ball. He's a guy that can catch it in traffic. He's an individual that says he's got that dog in him, E. He's a guy that you know that, hey, look, hey, I got double coverage. I got to throw a 50-50 ball. Yes, sir. Go to Jennings because you know that he's going to try to come down with it. You know how physical he is. I just hate that this guy is out. I know we know the type of man he is. He would play through injuries. This guy played on a bum shoulder last week, but this ankle must be pretty serious because of the fact Jennings isn't playing. And they need this guy today, but it's going to be interesting to see how the other guys, step up. No tight end, no hey diddle Kittle down the middle. Other guys going to have to step up and play big. But my boy's playing, right? The fullback. Do we got the juice back in this?
He's back, cleared concussion protocol, and so, at least we're going to have one addition back. It's funny because you look all across the league, and there are backups everywhere. Washington, Jaden Daniels goes down. Marcus Mariota is currently under center for the Washington Commanders. You're looking at the backup bowl, basically, between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Minnesota Vikings. Carson Wentz is starting for the Vikings. Jake Browning for the Bengals. You got backup quarterbacks all across the league going. Mac Jones threw 3 touchdowns last week, and it just goes to show that the backup quarterback position, maybe now more than I would say in the recent memory, at least that I can recall, is one of the more important positions you have to invest in. And that's why the 49ers decided last year that Brandon Allen, Josh Dobbs, God love them, that was not going to be good enough, and they found Mac.
Right, and you, like you just said, when you're playing and you're a team that you think that you have a chance and you're a team that you want to compete, you better make sure you get a backup quarterback. You look at the Washington Commanders, they got a guy in Mariota. Here's a guy that, he's probably not a starter, but he was a starter in this league for years. He's a guy that can handle it. So you got a guy that can be a stopgap and hold it down for at least a couple weeks. So you have that. In teams that don't have it, bless you. God bless you.
Well, someone like Tyrod Taylor, he's starting for the Jets today. He's someone, to your point, these guys have been starting quarterbacks in the league. Marcus Mariota has played in playoff games with the Tennessee Titans. Tyrod Taylor was a Pro Bowler for the Buffalo Bills. These are all guys that are basically in positions where they have to step up and step in. Now, some of these guys, as opposed to Mac Jones, their career arc is more in the backup quarterback realm. Mac Jones, to me, partially because of what Sam Darnold was able to do, but also because of his age, and I think some of his ability. Mac Jones, to me, his days as a starter are not done yet. And I think that what he proved last week is that if given ample opportunity and potential, and fit, he's someone that can help you win football games, not just fill in and step up and show out, but potentially in the future could be a starting quarterback for another NFL team.
Yeah, he really could. And when you just watch the way that he went through his progressions last week, understanding the nuance of the game, and understanding you're playing on the road in the game, he could have taken some big sacks that took him out of field goal range, could have taken some big sacks that didn't lead to scoring drives. He understood the importance of getting rid of the ball, throwing it out of bounds, understand, okay, look, I'm not going to necessarily take some unnecessarily hits. And here's another thing. I think a lot of it, when you look at Mac Jones, you talk about some of the things that he doesn't do. I think that sometimes he's playing like, look, if Brock gets hurt, you don't think that Coach Shanahan's saying, I want a smart guy because, look, Brock's already hurt. We can't get hurt.
Yeah.
Well, you got to stay upright. So don't take those chances. Throw the ball away when you need to. Don't take these chances. At times, if we got to have it, you got to do it. But don't take these chances because the Niners, they don't have necessarily another guy that you can go to and say that you're going to get this type of productivity, out of. So you like what he's doing. I think he's playing well, and this will be a big test for him to put it together, to show some consistency. But like you're saying, he's a young enough guy in this league that the team would say, hey, look, I like what this guy can do. You look at Carolina, you think about their quarterback, young guy, don't know. Think about what happened in Indianapolis. You had a guy that left, Daniel Jones leaves there. We talked about it last week, and look what he's doing in Indianapolis. Even though Indianapolis drafted this guy,
Anthony Richardson
in the first round. So you got to look at it like that. When you're Mac Jones, you're looking like, look, there are some opportunities. Even though some of these guys are drafted high and they have a lot of draft capital, guess what? I was one of those guys, but teams moved on from. So why don't I make it harder on other teams to make them move on from other guys? So today is a big opportunity for this guy to continue to add to his resume, and he's playing against a team right now that's playing pretty good football as well.
Yeah, and not to say, franchise quarterback caliber, but last year Sam Darnold was the starter for Minnesota because they needed a stopgap.
Right.
Even if J.J. McCarthy was healthy, he probably wouldn't have started that season because he needed to get ready and acclimate to the NFL. So what does Sam Darnold do? 1 year prove-it deal, and then goes out and gets more money for Seattle. I think that, to me, is more of the path that Mac Jones is looking at, whereas you're going to see maybe an Arch Manning come into the league next year, someone who I think people have varying opinions on, but might not be ready to start day one. Okay, so can we find a stopgap to make sure that he's going to be okay? That's why the Carolina Panthers went out and got Baker Mayfield once upon a time, who eventually then got to Los Angeles, proved it in a couple of games, and was rewarded big by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, someone like Baker Mayfield was thrown to the side and then showed everyone that he can still ball. And not only that, has been one of the more prolific passers over the last 2 years. So to me, the fact that guys, are starters and then get thrown into backups, and we kind of, and I'll admit I do it, that when you see the backup quarterback moniker, you think, well, this guy can't really play, and if he's in, our team is not in a position to succeed. But I like the fact that the 49ers believed enough in him to not just give him a 1 year, but give him a 2 year deal, and also have the confidence to throw him out there against New Orleans and this week against Arizona. And to your point in the first segment, I think if they win this football game today, he might even start against Jacksonville because of what he's done so far.
Yeah, and you could even take it a little bit further than that and say, what happens if this guy wins and wins convincingly the next couple of weeks? What happens after the season? You look at this guy and he had 5 starts and he won 5 games. What type of market now you have for him? So I think the Niners are really in a good position with the success of Mac Jones, because he's also a bargaining chip that you can trade.
Yep.
You're in a situation where, guess what? If you're next year, if there's a team that says I need a quarterback, and and the Niners feel they have someone, this guy he's a third. I mean, I can see someone giving up a third or fourth for what he's shown that he can do. He's a very serviceable quarterback. He's not saying that he's necessarily a great quarterback, but he's very serviceable. He's been to a playoffs. He's done a lot in this league. So I just think that this guy has to continue to build his resume. And today is one of those. Today is no different than last week. You have an opportunity to go out there and just add another W. I really like what he showed last week, though. The poise, the commanding of the offense, gritting guys in and out of the huddle, didn't have a lot of delayed games. You look at the efficiency, look at the other things that went along with him. When he scored, you saw when he hit McCaffrey, you saw him come off the field with that grit on his face. He's a happy-go-lucky guy, but watch his face, his expression. You saw how Mac Jones is one of those, nice guys, but you saw how intense he was. What did he throw for last week? What was his rating? You saw the guy, how did he do on third down? You look at there's a lot of things that he did, I thought, that showed that he's a comparable starting quarterback in this league.
Absolutely. No, 26 for 39 last week, 279 yards and 3 touchdowns, a 113 quarterback rating. I mean, you can make the case that that's the best statistical performance of his entire career, and this guy has started 50 NFL games. To your point, they were 8 for 15 on third down. Yes, some of that is running the football, but a lot of that is Mac Jones keeping them ahead of the sticks. Now, I do want to ask you this, because I was shocked watching the game, not necessarily in a bad way, but just more of how impressive he was and how much trust Kyle Shanahan had in him. Were you surprised that he threw it 39 times against the New Orleans Saints?
I really was. I thought that this was a game that you'd see the Niners line up and going to run the ball and just ball control, keep away from the Saints and run out clock and do that. They didn't. And that shows you the confidence that Kyle Shanahan has in this young man, but also show you that if you have to throw the ball, this guy is capable of throwing it. How many interceptions did he have? Did he throw any interceptions? Did he throw 2? Did they win the turnover battle? Yes. I don't think he threw an interception last week.
He had one fumble. That was it.
The fumble. Yeah. But when you think about didn't throw any interceptions, so he didn't get you in trouble, and that's what you want. You threw the ball 39 times, and you were winning the majority of the game. You were playing from in front. So they put the ball in his hand because of the fact the inability of the Niners running the ball with consistency. That is a problem, something we probably should get into. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what makes Kyle Shanahan say, we have to throw the ball, because sometimes on 2nd and 2 and 3rd and 1, or they are not converting. So it's like, okay, we have to throw the ball on 3rd down now. We got to spread guys out and let this guy spin it around. And they've had success doing it. They didn't. I mean, you have to realize this team thus far in 2 weeks have not ran the ball great. Haven't ran the ball with great consistency. I thought last week against the Saints they ran it better than they did against Seattle, but there were some times on 2nd and 3rd down that the running game still failed them.
Well, and to your point, as long as you're not hurting your team by turning the ball over, by putting it in harm's way, you give yourself a chance, especially with that kind of defense that has looked, I think, much improved compared to last year. Might even be ahead of schedule for what I thought it could be. But you look around the league right now, and the backup quarterbacks that do not take care of the ball, those are the ones whose teams are in disadvantageous positions. Right now, the Minnesota Vikings are up 14-0 on Cincinnati because Jake Browning threw a pick 6. Even a young quarterback, he's not a backup, but he's a youthful kind of quarterback. And Cam Ward with Tennessee throws a pick 6 early in that football game. You're already at disadvantage. What I loved about watching Mac orchestrate the offense last week was it didn't feel like he was putting a ball in harm's way. Did he miss a couple throws? Yes. I think there was a 3rd and long that Ricky Pearsall that was right up the seam, and if he drops it in the bucket, maybe it's a touchdown. Overthrows him, but that's not a throw that's going to go the other way. That's not a throw that's going to hurt you, and that you're putting it into traffic. And especially compared to week 1, I know that Brock Purdy is much different. He's a little more of a gunslinger, I think, than Mac is, but that second interception that Brock Purdy threw into triple coverage, there were none of those kinds of throws from Mac Jones against the Saints. 2 different defenses, 2 different teams, but I thought it was impressive that he was able to, play his own game, but without really making a big mistake. And I think there was no situation where I felt like, oh oh, like, don't throw that ball, Mac.
Right.
I thought he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, and if you protect Mac, I think he's a smart guy. He goes through it, and he's not going to take as many chances as Brock Purdy. Understand the element, and you're playing at home, so that gives you a little bit more leeway. I just like looking around this league, and you talk about how much transparency, and everyone says, oh, this guy's done. He's done. I keep going back to Daniel Jones. You see what this guy's doing in Indianapolis. Who would have thunk it?
They look like they got
Indianapolis
something.
is going to be 3-0. They got what do they do well? They can run the ball. They got an unbelievable running. And Jonathan Taylor got a great runner. And now look at your quarterback, Mac Jones. Everyone says done, but look at Daniel Jones. What he's been able to do in Indy. This is a team that may very well get in the playoffs. So when you look around and just say, man, here's some teams that are shocking people at the way they're playing. I talked about last week and the week before, and I tell you, hey, look. Everyone counts, and we talked about, me and you were talking about just this division. I think that it's. I said it was the Rams, and then I said who, and it looks like I think it could be after today, could be possibly the Niners, because when you look at the Rams, I thought last year no one's given this team enough credit. They should have, in my opinion, beat the Super Bowl champs.
Yep.
They had a chance.
They're knocking on the door.
They were knocking on the door. You don't turn that ball over. Are we saying that, the Philadelphia Eagles are the Super Bowl champs? So I think that still I got to give the Rams a slight edge. But I'm going to tell you right now, the Niners have surprised me. I'm one of those guys that I'm saying, you know what? I'm not going to be the guy that say I told you so. I'm just going to say this team have surprised me a lot this year, especially with the circumstances that they're under and playing with the backup quarterback. Their offense has surprised me as far as what the quarterback's been able to do. But the biggest surprise for me in this year, the Niners, to me, is what the defense has done. I think this team has surprised me. It surprised a lot of people. If people want to say, the Niners are going to be 2-0. No, you did not. You knew you were going to Seattle, where the 12th man, and that place is tough to win, knowing that you're going to lose Kittle in the second quarter and not be able to play the whole second half, and you're going to still win that game, and then travel to New Orleans, playing a team that's up against a quarterback that's pretty mobile, playing with your backup quarterback, playing with not having 3 or 4 of your starters, and you still find a way, and your defense still, shined. I think this team, in my opinion, they have surprised me, and they have exceeded my expectations for them thus far.
About 10 minutes away, Larry Centers, former Pro Bowl fullback for the Arizona Cardinals, played 15 years in the NFL, is going to join us at 11 a.m. here on the Kickoff Show, live from Laughing Monk Brewing in Sunnyvale. Come on by. We got a shuttle set up for everybody who wants to grab a pop, get some food. Then it'll take you over to Levi's Stadium, can bring you back. We got some great games set up, lots of great people, and great times here as well. Lorenzo Neal, Evan Giddings on the Kickoff Show. This is kind of the thing, too, is I think there's a lot of people right now that coming into the season did not believe that the San Francisco 49ers team was going to be where they are right now. And a big reason why there was faith surrounding this group, Lo, to me, was because of the schedule and because of the opponents you're playing. And you start to look at, all right, well, after Arizona today, you got Jacksonville, Browns, Giants, other groups that Tennessee Titans, teams that are certainly beatable, but I don't necessarily want this season to be about, well, it's who they're playing. No, like this team has got something, and I'm with you. It to me is because the defense has taken a major step forward compared to last season, and the offense has been able to cobble together the side of the football that's been dealing with the majority of those injuries. So I don't want to make it look like, oh, well, okay, they beat the Saints, they beat Seattle week one. And it's like, no, they got 2 quality road wins. And with the adversity that they've faced so far, this team, to me, is better than I gave them credit for coming into this season.
Oh, no question, man. And here's the deal. Everyone says, Seattle, they're not good. What are you talking about? Seattle, who they beat last week?
They went into Pittsburgh and wrecked the Steelers.
Exactly. They beat the Steelers. Seattle is not a bad football team. They can run the ball. They can do a lot. The Niners showed that they can play, and they can bow their necks and play big ball football. Going in Seattle and beating Seattle was a big-time win. And, yeah, people talk about, their schedule's weak. No, I'm telling you, you're still in the National Football League, and everyone else, they get paid as well. You have played 2 teams on the road and found a way to win those football games. It's very imperative that this team continues to play complementary football. When you're talking about offensively, yes, they laid it up yet, gotten 30 and just blew teams out? No. But are they getting better week in and week out? I think so. I think when you think about this team, it's interesting. I'm not going to talk about the quarterback position because it doesn't remind me of that. But when you think about the years of Jimmy G and this team thriving, going to the Super Bowl and playing, they ran the ball and they played great defense. If you think about it, if they can start running the ball and get more, but this is what the Niners. It wasn't like they were blowing teams out. It was defense. If you get to 21, you win. That's what the Niners were. Several years ago when this defense was top in everything, it was get to 21 and it's hard to beat them.
Exactly, and that's been kind of the identity of their team. Now, the defensive line isn't maybe as dominant as it was in 2019.
No.
The personnel is different, but you're right. The strategy and the way that they're going about their business is completely similar. Before we get to Larry at the top of the hour, I do want to sneak in a call if we can. Cam, can we go to Mitch, who's in New Jersey, wants to talk about Kyler Murray and the San Francisco 49ers. Mitch, what's going on? Good morning. How you doing?
How you doing, guys? Actually, it's good afternoon. Long time. Hello. In a while. Yeah, how you doing? I think we have a good enough running game. We don't have to use Mac. I know we're kind of short on wide receivers. And Kyler Murray, if Nick Bosa keeps chasing him down, I like our chances.
Appreciate it, Mitch. Well, I mean, look, they are favored in this game, and I do think that, again, even with Mac Jones, this is going to be a tougher test for sure than New Orleans as a group, but you have this game at home. You've already got the momentum of winning 2 road games. I do believe the 49ers can win this football game.
Oh, I do, and I think they should, and I think they will. It's going to be tall cotton, though. You're going to have to play a team, and you're going to have to do – the biggest thing for me, man, is not necessarily keeping Kyler Murray. Of course, you got to keep him in the pocket and make the guy beat you from the pocket and throw the ball. I get that. That's number one. But the biggest thing to me is Connor. Last year you and I watched that game, and they beat him up. And he's a hard runner. I want to see if the Niners can reproduce what they did against Seattle, because this team is going to come in here and say, we're going to play big boy ball. We're going to see if they can cover every blade of grass. We're going to see if we can push them and create a new line of scrimmage. I think they want to run the ball. And Connor, you got to stop Connor, because he runs hard. He runs physical. This guy's tough. This is going to be the most physical back that they played right thus far this year. That guy that's one cut, he's downhill, and he runs physical. How do they shut him down? How do they keep him in the box? How do they keep him under 3 to 4 yards? Don't let him get that 4 yards to carry. That's my key. That is what I think needs to happen today for them to have success.
Well, we see a Joe Montana jersey, Jerry Rice jersey, people continuing to file in. Lots of fun here in Laughing Monk Brewing. If you're driving down, just stop by, have a pop, say what's up. 95.7 The Game has set up a ton of great games for you in front. We got our entire promotions team, Big Hefe in the house. You can even see Tim Jordan's sweet little San Francisco 49ers polo that his wife bought for him. It's very slick. You can obviously talk to Lorenzo Neal. We got you locked right here. But coming up next, Larry Centers is going to join us on 95.7 The Game. He, of course, was a Pro Bowl fullback for the Arizona Cardinals, played a long time in the league. He and Lowe are going to chop it up. And you said Larry had 100 catches in a season?
Yes.
As a fullback.
As a fullback, 100 receptions. I think it's unbelievable. We even got some cornholes. I think I'm going to take you in the cornhole. I think you and I need to go throw a couple bean bags, little cornhole.
Well, I still got to find a way to put the football.
You want to top me?
I know, man. Look, I got a little bit. I got a little bit left.
These guys, they talked about me. The boss came out, said, "Hello, let's go. See if you can throw it in there." It took me 4 shots. You're at about 20 to 30. Backs up. I drop it in. Got it in. Everyone else tried. No one's got it but the big fella, the fullback with the bad hand. Look at that finger. If you guys are watching on YouTube, look at that finger, how bad it is. So I really can't grip the ball the way that I want, but I still put it in the hole, baby. Put it in the hole.
And if you got any text messages for us after we talk to Larry, you can hop on the phone lines as well. Tell us how you're feeling about the home opener for the 49ers and the Cardinals. 888-957-9570 is the number. How you feeling about Mac Jones? How you feeling about Brock Purdy? How are you feeling about the San Francisco 49ers, who are off to a 2-0 start against the 2-0 Arizona Cardinals? Someone's got to lose today. Someone's going to be undefeated, and we're going to find out at 125 if it's the 49ers or the Cardinals. But coming up next, Larry Centers will join us right here via the River Islands guest line on the kickoff show with Giddings, Lowe, and we're going to be back after this on 95.7 The Game.
Bang, bang!
Hi, I'm Becca, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As an in-house designer, I can't wait for you to see our incredible selection of stylish and stackable rings. If you're shopping for your wedding bands, we have high-quality designs for every style and budget, from romantic to modern. If you're looking to add to a stack, your options are endless. Discover styles with clusters of gemstones, sleek all-metal designs, updated cigar bands, and signet rings perfect for an engraving. Because a friend knows you like options. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Score big by saving lives with Stanford Blood Center. Donate blood between September 1st through the 30th and be automatically entered for a chance to win 2 club-level seats to the ultimate Sunday night showdown, San Francisco versus Atlanta at Levi Stadium. It's your chance to make a difference and experience the game like never before from premium seats with an unbeatable view. Every donation helps patients in need and brings you one step closer to the end zone. Learn more at stanfordbloodcenter.org/touchdown.
Grab the keys to a new Toyota. This fall, it's time to hit the road and chase new adventures. From majestic mornings to golden sunsets, explore all the beauty California has to offer with Toyota's legendary fuel efficiency. Right now, get a low lease on the 2025 Prius Limited, one of 17 fuel-efficient Toyota hybrids. Plus, every new Toyota comes with Toyota Care, a 2-year no-cost maintenance plan. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with Premier Rated credit ends 9/30/25. See your Toyota dealer for Toyota Care details and exclusions.
Game day just got an upgrade. Whether you're gearing up or winding down, Westfield Valley Fair is your go-to spot. Hit the latest gear at Shoe Palace, grab bold bites at Shake Shack and Eataly, and catch the action on big screens at King's Fish House. From premium shopping to epic eats and entertainment, make every football Sunday legendary. Westfield Valley Fair, where football fans fuel up in style.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Premium Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines. Right now, get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99. Plus, receive 2 times O Rewards points. Limit supply. Choose Syntec exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
With great deals coming this Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th, greatness is a deal away. So if you love baking, you can get a deal on a new mixer, transforming you into the Lord of the Loaves.
Hear ye, hear ye! Make way for the baron of brioche, the sultan of sourdough, the Lord of the Loaves, Prime Member Dave!
Yeah, hi?
Get up to 40% off with Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Football is back, and so is your shot at big wins. With DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite QBs, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THEGAME. That's code THEGAME. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside. In partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Get your favorite cheeses at Whole Foods Market. Save 25% on select Goudas with Prime through September 30th. Assemble a crowd-pleasing cheese board for your upcoming fall gatherings. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Now back to the kickoff show on 95.7 The Game.
For the 2 hours before special 3-hour show for the home opener. 49ers Cardinals 125. Still time to go to 957thegame.com and get your tickets for the shuttle. $25 back and forth kickoff. Click on the kickoff show link to get on the shuttle, to get your spot. You can come park. You can have a libation or two, maybe more. Get on over to Levi's, and it'll take you right back. Laughing Monk Brewing, 1235 Oakmead Parkway, right near the stadium is where we are, where we'll be for every single home game.
1, 2, 3, 5. It's simple.
1, 2, 3, 5.
Get over here. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's a huge sports bar. You got every game on, whatever you want. They got it. Great drinks, great environment, great people. This place is close, really close to the stadium. You can park. A shuttle will take you to and from the stadium. Come on. Who's got it better than that? You could take you could go to other bars, but why take chances? Come down here and let's get it in.
Now, did you just lose a race during the commercial break? What?
Oh, man.
What happened?
Okay.
All I know is there was a referee's shirt that finished first.
Yeah, you know what? I had a bad start. Yeah. I had her out of the hole. I was running backwards. She was going forward. But I'm racing her friend at the next break, and I'm guaranteeing victory. I'm guaranteeing. You guys, we might.
Flag on the play.
No flag on the play. I'm guaranteeing victory. I had a bad start. I'm coming back. Rematch.
All right, absolutely. I mean, look, this.
I was close though. I was going back.
You were close.
I got her. I had her. You thought I had this, didn't you?
Seattle was close against San Francisco too, but the 49ers found a way to get that W.
Too soon. Too soon.
Oh yeah, no, we got cornhole, football toss, ball toss here. We got the entire setup out front. So come on, drive by, have a pop, say what's up, watch a little football before you head on down into the stadium. Okay, so we spent a lot of time talking about last week the 49ers, what they're set up to try and accomplish this week with Mac Jones as their starting quarterback. Juwan Jennings is going to be out for this game. That's the other big piece of news for the San Francisco 49ers. But the Arizona Cardinals are a team that is also 2-0. And their first two games, also against the Saints for one of them, and then Carolina for their second victory. I do think that the one thing separating me from feeling more confident in Arizona, Low, is the fact that the Niners went into Seattle, beat, I think, a quality football team, whereas the Cardinals have been pretty much ahead by big margin in their first two games, but they have yet to really close out either of those opponents. And I'm just wondering, coming into San Francisco, if they leave the door open for a better Niners team, I believe, than the Panthers and the Saints, are the 49ers a team that's going to take advantage of that?
Well, I think so, and I think when you look at the quarterback play, what you've been talking about earlier with Mac Jones, what he's been able to do, and just period, I think the quarterback play has been better for the Niners. You look at Carolina, the inconsistency, even though he has talent, the inconsistency out of the quarterback position. I was one to think the quarterback in Carolina was going to have a stellar year this year because of the setback that he had last year.
Still waiting on Bryce Young,
man. Bryce, because, you went with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton righted the ship and kind of got him, and he came out playing a lot better after he sat for a while. But I think when you talk about the Saints and you look at what he was able to do last week and also against Arizona very rarely could have lost that game. They threw the ball in the end zone. The receiver puts two hands on it, doesn't bring it down. The Saints win that game. They had some opportunities to win that football game. So when you talk about the Cardinals, the Cardinals, they have gotten by, and they found a way to win. And here we are sitting both teams at 2-0. But like you're saying, I think that the Niners have shown that they played better with better domination. I just think that you got to do a couple things. You're the Niners. You look at who does Arizona have the threat? Marvin Harrison Jr., this guy is a talent and still has not, I don't know if it's the quarterback, but we know what he's done in college. This guy can light it up. He's a seasoned route runner. He can do amazing things. You just can't let one guy beat you. If it's the guy, then he's the guy gets 100 yards, then Connor can't get 100 yards rushing. So you just can't let them be flowing on all cylinders. If you look at the Niners have one not flowing on all cylinders. Mm-hmm. I think that the Arizona doesn't have that ability. I think when you look at the Niners, don't have necessarily the running game hasn't been great. Passing game is, guys have stood up, but it's just a bunch of guys and they're making plays. So I think the Niners have been battle tested. I think Arizona's been battle tested, but it's going to be interesting just to see what the Niners defense do. I'm putting a lot of stock into the defense because you have to be able to keep Kyler in the pocket.
You do.
And you have to shut down the run game.
Yeah, I think the most important thing for this defense is to make sure that Kyler Murray is more of a passer than a runner. His legs, and look, the guy is uber talented. Obviously, he was the number 1 overall pick, former Heisman winner. But this is a guy who I just feel like, kind of similar to a Jalen Hurts. If you turn him into just strictly a passer, if you make him stay in the pocket, both of those quarterbacks, and I think Kyler more so than Jalen, they want to get out and move. They want to basically, I think, just kind of disorient the defense with their legs. But if you turn them into just a passer, yes, he has Marvin Harrison. Yes, he has Trey McBride. James Conner is even a threat out of the backfield to catch the ball. The Cardinals' offense, to me, is just a little more predictable. And so Kyler Murray, and a guy that's got, again, all the talent in the world, is someone that I think naturally wants to move, naturally wants to use his legs. And if they're able to not even get to him, but kind of cage him, to kind of keep him inside that area, I think this is a Niners team that's going to make his life tough.
Yeah, and for me, it's simple. You bat down 5, I think you can bat down any five balls. I would be disappointed if this Niner team doesn't bat down five passes. This guy's nothing but 5'8", if that. You keep him in the pocket and make him beat you from the pocket. Make sure you rush from the middle and you push the pocket in his face and make him throw over the top. And you talk about he's wanting to run. Yes, he wants to get outside of the pocket for he can see downfield. That's why they want to move Murray at times, to get him outside the pocket, to move outside the pocket for he can see downfield, so you take away the lineman. When you make him play from in that box, make him play from in that phone booth, that means Bosa and those guys, they can't necessarily get upfield. They got to pressure rush him and keep him in front. Keep him in the pocket and make him try to beat you from the pocket. That's how you have success against Murray and against this Arizona team, is keep him in the pocket. Don't let him create plays outside of the pocket. Don't let him run for big plays. That's how you beat him. That is the recipe. Pressure him from inside. Keep him in the pocket.
Well, that's what makes the Cardinals, I think, Lo, such a tough team to sort of to analyze or project. They have so much talent. You think about Kyler Murray, who's a number 1 pick. Marvin Harrison is one of the highest drafted wide receivers in recent memory. Trey McBride is the top 3 tight end. James Conner is a very valuable dual threat back. They have so much on offense, and yet it feels like there's something missing. Do you think it's the quarterback, or do you think it's something different?
Yeah, you went and you've hired several coaches, so you gave Murray an opportunity. You brought in a coach that you said in college that this guy's going to make this offense go, and it didn't. You've given young Murray, a lot of opportunities to have success and to make it about him and to take over. And I know they just paid him, 2 years back, and that's why he didn't get that, maybe that $400,000 or $500,000 million contract in the hundreds. So that I don't think that this is the future. I really don't think that Kyler Murray is the future for this organization due to what we've seen thus far offensively. He's shown you signs and glimpses of it, but can he do it for a whole season? And I don't think he has been able to. And I think he slowed down a little bit from that. Remember, he ripped his Achilles a couple years back, so he's not the same guy, and that's what he relied on so much, was his elusiveness and his ability to create outside of the pocket.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's still fast. He can still hurt you with his legs. But, it's funny, too, because we were talking about Brock Purdy, and just because of the way that he plays and his stature, his game lends himself to be in harm's way more than other quarterbacks. Murray is sort of the same for me. You look at the amount of games that he's missed over the years, played the first 2 years and didn't miss a single game. 2021, he misses 3 games. 2022, he misses 5 games. 2023, he only plays 8. Last year is the first time he's played a full season since he was 22 years old. And so I do think that this is a big year for someone like Kyler Murray and the Arizona Cardinals, because either if he gets hurt or he doesn't come up aces the way that you want him to be, you do have to think about what you want out of your franchise quarterback and if he's that guy. Everyone around the NFC West, I think, has their quarterback in some sense. I would argue that Brock Purdy is more locked into his franchise than any of the other 3, just because Stafford's a little older. Sam Darnold did his first year with the Seahawks. But Kyler Murray is the one that, to me, is the biggest swing of, well, he has franchise talent, but this year's going to tell us if he's the franchise guy.
Yeah, and what was his record last year when the first year he went
8-9. 8-9 last year.
8-9 as a starter, and you have a plethora, and you had your weapons, and that's what's tough. You're a starting quarterback, and you have all your weapons, and you continue to build in the draft and get you more offensive weapons, and you go 8-9, doesn't make the playoffs. It's going to be interesting just to see, what happens and what this organization decides to do. Is he a talent? Yes. Has he given the Niners problems? Absolutely. We know, you could say what you want. He's been able to beat the Niners and beat them the last couple times. He's been able to because of the fact his legs and with a good run game. So you say what you want about him. Yes. Do I think he's the future? No. But I think that he matches up well against the Niners. And today the Niners are going to have their handful trying to contain him, trying to keep him in the pocket, trying to make him beat you with his arm. And that's what this game has to come down to do today, in my opinion. Make Murray beat you with his arm.
Yeah, and with all that said about Kyler, look, he's off to a good start this year. He's been completing 70% of his passes through 2 games, 3 touchdowns through the year, 1 more on the ground. He's played well, but I think you're right that this is a matchup for him that is more advantageous. And we talked about this week 1, the fact that for Seattle, Sam Darnold might be a better talent than Geno Smith, but against the Niners, Geno gives them more trouble. You look at last week, Spencer Rattler. He is not, certainly a top 10 or 15, half quarterback, but because he is mobile, he can use his legs, he's dangerous against the San Francisco 49ers defense. So for me, when I'm thinking about, is it Kyler Murray? Is it the Cardinals? Doesn't necessarily matter for this individual game, because we've seen through his first 6 seasons as quarterback, he can hurt the Niners when he's healthy. And I think he did it maybe he did it at his best last season, specifically in that matchup week 5 at Levi's.
Yeah, he did. It got hot, and we were there, and it's like, man, it was 100 degrees during there. It felt like it was unbelievable. And you just saw him just wear down the Niners defensively, just kept running the ball. Niners were up, and they took the ball and drove it down their throat, and the Niners couldn't do anything about it. And that has to be bad, and I know the Niners they couldn't have set with them well. And I think that, if you're the DC and you're Robert Sala and you're still Fred and those guys, you show that game. I'm telling you, this week doing practice, you don't think they showed that last 5 minutes to the team and said, this is who we are. This is what we are. How are we going to change the way that people view us? How are we going to change the narrative? This is last time we played Arizona. This is what they did to us with several minutes left in the game. This is what the score was. Look what they did to your defense. Look at the plays. Look at the time possession. Look what they were able to do. How are we going to get better? We just played a physical game against the Saints. We found a way to win that ball game. But now we're playing at home. We didn't have a great outing the last time we saw these guys. We have to change the narrative, and I'm telling you, it starts right now, but it starts in the trenches, up front. Games, I tell you all the time, they're won and lost in the trenches.
Well, and that's something that's actually been a pleasant surprise for the San Francisco 49ers. You think about last week, and yes, Ben Bartch has been injury-prone in his time, but not just Juszczyk gets hurt. You have one of your guards also go down.
Yeah.
You bring in the 7th-round rookie, Connor Colby, and without 2 major blockers, Juszczyk may be more important in some cases than the guard.
Yeah.
You don't skip much of a beat. I think one of the reasons that Mac Jones was allowed to be as proficient as he was last week is because the pass protection was pretty good. And I do think that this Niners offensive line has, been criticized in the past. Last year, didn't give Brock Purdy a ton of time. A lot of sacks. Even week 1 had to kind of use his legs to mobilize and get things through. But this offensive line, not sure about necessarily running the ball, and we touched on that a little bit. We'll get deeper into it. But so far, pass protection, I've been pretty impressed.
Yeah, so have I. I've been looking at the line and how they've been able to hold up in pass situations and to keep the pocket pretty clean. They have. At times the week before last when Brock Purdy got injured, Brock's a guy who's going to take more chances. He's a guy that's going to extend some plays. You see him back there doing the whirly bird at times and running and scrambling and running for his life to try to extend the play to make something happen. You know what? You don't have that in Jones, in Mac Jones, and I think they understand that. I think the offensive line, I think it's put on them. There's an onus. Hey guys, this isn't the same guy. You got to realize. I think that they understand. Hey, look, this isn't Brock back there. Brock's not back here, guys. We have to protect our guy. We got to protect Mac. If we want to win, we're going to have to hold on to our blocks just a little bit longer. I've been in meetings when Neil O'Donnell was our quarterback compared to Steve McNair. Neil O'Donnell, is not as mobile and not as agile. So it was like, hey guys, we got to hold our blocks just a little bit more. Give me a little bit more. This is not Steve. He's not going to be able to create and do the things we do. But we got to do our job. But look, guys, if you give him time, he'll carve you up. And I think that Mac Jones is no different. You give him time in the pocket and you sustain your blocks, and especially protect him from his spot, protect his spot. And what do I mean? People say, well, what do you mean protect his spot? What do you mean, don't get him off his mark? Let him be able to climb up in the pocket. Let Mike Jones be able to, to step up in the pocket when, if speed rushers come, being able to ride those guys back and now pour him a wall so he can climb up in the pocket and keep his eyes downfield. If you have him get back to that spot and the pocket is collapsing in front of him, now you're forcing him to be mobile. You're forcing him to take his eyes from downfield, but he can feel it when he's back there at 7, and then he just steps up because the pocket's firm from that guard center. That guard center, that's where you have to be firm. Can't let any leakage come in there. You got to be solid there for this guy can climb up in the pocket and still be able to push the ball down the field. So that's what I'm looking for today. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see these guys, especially in the middle, be firm in the middle so you give this guy time to look downfield and execute plays.
And it felt like the only time that Mac got into trouble, obviously, when he fumbled, was because he just held the ball too long.
Yeah.
1 pump, 2 pump, 3 pumps. At that point, you got to make a decision. And so, I think that for the majority of the game, he was decisive, and maybe that is sort of an experience he can now take. I think Arizona is going to have a little more success of putting pressure on Mac Jones, and so that ball is going to have to come out a little bit quicker. Now, the other side of that, too, is I think the running game could be a bit better this week, which should ideally take some pressure off of Mac Jones, because to your point, I think one of the reasons that they had to throw it 39 times is because McCaffrey, Robinson, we haven't seen Guerrero much, obviously, in the running game, but those 2 running backs haven't got a ton out of them just yet, but it's only 2 weeks in.
Yeah, and you'll see it. You saw McCaffrey at times, had a couple explosive runs, 8-9 yards. You saw him hit it. So he's close to breaking one. I think, like you said, you're going to have Arizona's going to present some problems. They got some guys up front that can put some pressure on you. Is he going to get the ball off? And how is Pearsall? How's Ricky? How are these guys going to do? That's the question to me. Who is the other guys at receivers? Who is going to make some plays? Colin, who's going to create the separation? And we have to throw the quick slant. Who's going to be there? Are we going to see McCaffrey and Robinson in the game the same time? Robinson in the backfield and McCaffrey lined up in the slot, because of the fact you got to say who's going to win. Not having Jennings, you understand the implications of how big what a receiver you lost. So there's going to have to be someone out there. And I think when you're talking about running the option routes and being able to beat people, I think McCaffrey's the guy that I wouldn't be surprised today if he gets 9 to 10 targets throwing the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if it's more than that.
And that was basically what happened in week one. Brock Purdy was just dumping it off, letting McCaffrey work in space and help sustain those drives. I think you could be right, too. You think about Mac Jones and some of the players that he's now having to throw the ball to. Fortunately, there are a couple of built-in relationships that I think may help grow and sort of be kind of fostered over time. For example, Kendrick Bourne is someone who they signed 2 weeks ago, but he did play with Mac Jones in New England. So there is some chemistry, some familiarity built in there. That might be someone that Mac Jones relies on a little bit. The relationship between he and Pearsall, to me, is also one to pay attention to today, because I think you're right. McCaffrey's probably going to get the bulk of the targets.
Oh, yeah.
But Ricky Pearsall, I think just because Jawan Jennings was utilized so much last week, Pearsall was a little bit more on the wayside. But as someone who's more in the intermediary, operating in that sort of space, is Ricky Pearsall used a bit more towards the line of scrimmage? Is he used a bit more to move the chains, to stay ahead of the sticks? How is Ricky Pearsall going to grow with Mac Jones? Because I thought week one, his relationship very quickly looked like with Brock Purdy, it's going to be a good one. Now with the backup quarterback, that wide receiver one also has to figure out, all right, you got a new tempo and you got a new cadence.
Yeah, and if I'm Purdy, if I'm Mac Jones, rather, I'm making sure that I go to Ricky early. You want Pearsall to get in the game early. You want to get him a rhythm early. You got to say, okay, who's some of the guys that I'm going to target early? Is Kendrick Bourne? Of course, he's been here. Guy's a veteran receiver. What are you going to do to get guys in the game early? I wouldn't be surprised if you see, a quick bubble screen to one of those guys. Get the ball in their hands. Let them create. Let them do some things, because you want to get guys in the rhythm, because you can't sit back and just say, okay, now you guys got to step up and make plays. So I think you're going to see Shanahan be aggressive. I think you're going to see Shanahan say, let's throw the ball. Let's see Shanahan, target in his first 12. Identify who they're going to throw the ball to. Identify, hey, these are routes that you're going to come open, the dirty dozen or the 24, whatever you like to say it. What do I have in store? I think that Shanahan is going to spread the ball out in the first 12 to 24 plays to different receivers and different targets to make everyone feel, don't go to sleep. We need more out of you today than we did last week.
Well, and I think that's a good observation, because last week they did that a little bit until there was sort of those money downs or those money drives. But you think about, all right, Jawan Jennings had 5 catches. Pearsall 4. McCaffrey led everyone with 6 catches. Kendrick Bourne had 3. Jake Tonjes had 4. Luke Farrell had a couple, including his first touchdown of the season. So those tight ends, too, it's not just that Jawan Jennings is out, but I think that we already understand that George Kittle is not on the field.
Right.
So those 2 tight ends, of which they've not had a ton of experience catching the football, they got to be factors as well. And then if Kyle Juszczyk is back, I think he also probably factors in. So, you're looking around last week, and there are 8 different players that caught passes from Mac Jones. I think it's got to be something similar.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt there'll be 8 or more. If you said, hey, put the number at 7 or 8, I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to. I wouldn't be surprised if Robinson catches a pass or 2. You have to spread it, because you're going to need these guys. This game is going to be a good game. You're going to have other guys have to step up, and they're going to have to make plays. It's going to be, I want to see Pearsall really get the majority of it, because we know that you drafted him. Unfortunately, injuries and different things that has happened to this young man, but you want to see what he can do, because you have some draft capital in this guy. He made some big plays. He knows how to get open. I want to see them go with him and ride with him to see if he is the guy that everyone thinks he can be.
What is your confidence level going into the home opener today that the Niners, who are 2-0 against the Cardinals, 2-0, can become 3-0? Mac Jones is going to be the quarterback. Brock Purdy officially out. Jawan Jennings is out. Is that one injury too far for you? Are you still feeling like the Niners are a team that should take down the Cardinals? They get their first home game after getting 2 tough road victories. What's your confidence level in the San Francisco 49ers today at 888-957-9570? Lorenzo Neal and Evan Giddings live from Laughing Monk Brewing here in Sunnyvale, 1235 Oakmead Parkway, right near near the stadium is where we will be for every single home game. 2 hours. Today we're 3 hours. We got a 3-hour special for you leading up until the 125 kick. There's still time for you to go to 957thegame.com, click on the kickoff show link, get your spot on the shuttle that will take you from here to the stadium and back for just $25. So again, Laughing Monk Brewing, 1235 Oakmead Parkway. Lorenzo Neal, Evan Giddings here on the kickoff show. We're going to step aside, come back. We're taking your calls as well at 888-957-9570. We're back after this on 95.7 The Game.
Football is back, and so is your shot at big wins. With DraftKings Pick 6, the official daily fantasy partner of the NFL, your game day instincts can score you real money fast. Here's the play. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player stats, from breakout rookies to elite QBs, and unlock the upside every snap brings. The better your calls, the bigger your payout. New DraftKings customers get $50 in bonus picks with just a $5 entry. This season, play your player instincts. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THEGAME. That's code THEGAME. Play just $5, get $50 in Pick 6 bonus picks. Make the call. Ride the upside. In partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Must be 18 and over. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 bonus picks that expire in 14 days. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
Get your favorite cheeses at Whole Foods Market. Save 25% on select Goudas with Prime through September 30th. Assemble a crowd-pleasing cheese board for your upcoming fall gatherings. While supplies last, shop in-store or online. Terms apply.
Fall is the season for reinvention, and it's easy to do at Macy's Fall Favorite Sale. Come in and find your new favorite styles, like romantic ruffled dresses, chic trenches, cashmere sweaters, and textural fall layers, which are perfect for mixing and matching. All for 20 to 50% off. So if you're looking for your new favorite things, look no further than the Fall Favorite Sale. Today, only at Macy's. Savings off already reduced prices. Exclusions apply.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go. Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on OpenSignal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide, a robust new website, and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
And now, your Live Nation lineup.
Ice Cube at Oakland Arena, September 25th. Thomas Rhett at Shoreline Amphitheater, September 27th. Keith Sweat at Paramount Theater, October 4th. That was your Live Nation lineup.
For tickets and info, hit up livenation.com.
Losing weight shouldn't be a struggle, and with Jumpstart MD, it doesn't have to be. Start today for just $99 when you join Jumpstart MD's medically supervised weight loss program today. Licensed clinicians create personalized plans, including GLP-1 medications. No insurance? No problem. Jumpstart MD has options to meet your individual needs. With 13 Bay Area locations and online visits, expert support is always within reach. Call 855-JUMPSTART or visit jumpstartmd.com to start transforming your health today.
Now back to the kickoff show on 95.7 The Game.
Man, shout out to Laughing Monk Brewing. We got people handing out, some free libations.
We got some haters out here, too.
We do have a couple of haters out here. We got one at least. I know we got one.
Such a hater. Aaliyah's such a hater.
Can't spell Kalia without an L.
Yeah.
That's what.
She's talking about her skills. I watched her throw a football. We have the football thing out here where you throw it in the little circle.
No doubt.
12 by 12. And it's blue, and it's got two different portals.
Yeah, skills that kills.
Yes, and so you have the blue one and you have the red one, and they're hooked up and they're divided by a yellow little balloon in the middle.
Football toss.
Football toss. And she's aiming at the blue. I'm watching her, and she's like, "Oh, fire it up, dropping back." Instead of going blue, her arm, I don't know what it ended up going one space completely over. I never seen anything like that. I thought it was legendary. It was. See, look, she's blind in one eye, can't see out the other. Oh,
that's difficult to do. That's difficult to do.
I told her I was going to get her because she's giving me a hard time out here. Come down to Laughing Monk. Come hang out. This is a great spot. We got some great entertainment. I mean, you got the shuttle to and from the game.
No doubt.
Why not come down here? Great drink specials, TVs, all the games are on. Come hang out with your boy Lo Neal and Evan Giddings, and we'll have a great time down here.
Yeah, we just saw our guy Sam, who owns Laughing Monk, one of the co-owners here, is a great guy. Also, he's got a little pepper on his shot.
He does. He's got a little heat on his throat.
He can spin it a little bit. Shout out to our guy Paul, lives around the area, came down to say what's up. If you're a fan of the station, if you're a fan of the 49ers, it's a great place to hang out right before you go to the game. If you want to kick it here during the game, watch all the 10 a.m.s, the 1 o'clocks. They got a bunch of TVs, bunch of great drinks, lots of great food. Of course, 1235 Oakmead Parkway, where we'll be for every single home game this season on the kickoff show with Lorenzo Neal and Evan Giddings. All right, Cam, if we can dial up this sound. This is from Calais Campbell. I want to play it for you. This was earlier in the week, and Calais Campbell was effectively asked whether he would want to face Brock Purdy or Mac Jones. And it's an unmistakable voice. So here's Calais Campbell.
You want a truthful answer? The truthful answer is I'd much rather play against Mac Jones. and that's not a shot because Mac is a first-round talent, and he can do all the things. Yeah. He just hasn't been that defense. He hasn't been that offense a long time, so he just is still going through it. But with Brock, I mean, he's a master of that offense. He can make it go. I'm willing to play whoever they put in front of me. We go out there, we go earn it. But we have a little bit of advantage, with just a quarterback who hasn't been there as long in the offense versus somebody who's a master of it.
So this to me speaks to, I don't know if it's a portion of the fan base, but naturally anytime, Lo, that a backup steps in, does well, and wins a football game, there's always weirdly this question of, well, what about the starting? Is his job in jeopardy? Is there a quarterback controversy? Calais Campbell is telling you that Brock Purdy is the man. And I think everyone knows that, understands that. So why do we have to do the whole, well, if Mac Jones plays well, then we got to think about, do we go back? It's like, can we just pump the brakes on it?
Is someone saying that? I can't believe there's callers. I don't care what he does this
When people
year.
heard that Brock was out for 2 to 5 weeks, well, it's like, well, what if Mac Jones goes 5-0? We can't go back to Brock.
If he goes, pump your brakes, pump your brain, just slow down. Absolutely. Even if he goes 5-0, you are going back to Brock Purdy. And Campbell, you heard him, he said it best. He goes, hey, look, here's a guy who's mastered the offense, and here's a guy who's been a starter in this league. No slight of disrespect. Here's a guy who's been a starter. He's a first-round talent, but he's saying he's not Brock Purdy. And that's from a veteran guy who's been in this league, so you got to respect that. He wasn't talking junk. He was just saying, look, this is who I'd rather face. And I'm telling you, Brock Purdy is hell. Brock Purdy, you see this guy outside the pocket, his ability to scramble, and his ability to make people miss. I mean, you see he can do that little whirly bird, and he gets people on his outside shoulder, kind of like the basketball moves, and they're just chasing ghosts. So Brock Purdy, man, he is a handful. He can extend plays like no other. The guy's pretty amazing quarterback. So, yeah, of course, I would say the same thing, and guess what? 99.9% of the league would say the same thing when it comes to these two guys, when it comes to quarterback and the team. But even though you can say that, let's just not say that, the Mac Jones is Swiss cheese. Here's a guy that Mac Jones doesn't take necessarily the chances that Brock Purdy is going to take. He's going to get rid of the ball. He's not going to try to force it, hopefully force it into as many windows, because Brock believes and he knows where guys are going to be. So Brock at times just lets the ball go because he knows the spot that the guy is going to get to. So Brock will everyone thinks he's taking chances. It's just because, like Campbell just said, because he's mastered it, he's letting it go because he's the master, and he knows the end of the joke, where the punchline is and where the individual is going to be. So he will take, it looks like, chances, but he's trusting the system and he's trusting the players, and so that's why he's a master of this system.
They're two completely different quarterbacks. Like, Mac Jones is the guy that I would want in the backup spot because I feel like I know what the floor is with him.
Right.
You know what his skill set is. You know what he's going to be able to do. But he is also someone who is limited. Brock Purdy is someone, and I think this is kind of the case in 2025. I don't know how many guys that you played either with or against, Lowe, that as quarterbacks could both run and pass effectively and efficiently. Now it feels like it's almost kind of a skill set you have to have. A mobile quarterback used to be more of a luxury, but nowadays, if you're not evasive, if you can't move outside of the pocket, and if you can't pick up cheap yards the way that Brock Purdy, I think, has shown he's able to do, unfortunately might have been the play that he also got hurt on, but is someone who can run, can get upfield. Mac Jones is, for lack of a better terms, more of a statue-type quarterback. Doesn't mean he can't deliver the football. Doesn't mean he can't step up and have pocket awareness inside of the pocket, but it feels like nowadays the guys that are the starters that are some more of the kind of game-changing talents, you have to be able to use your legs.
Well, I think that you do have to use your legs. Let's just look at the Rams, the teams that plays good football.
It's fair.
Stafford, even at times at 37, 38, 36, 35, he was still running with his legs at times. You look in Detroit. You look in Detroit, quarterback there. Look at the way that at times he has to use his legs.
Goff, yeah.
You look at Jared Goff. So you go through the league and you talk about even Jones last week against the Saints. At times he took off and ran. So it's not. Yes, you have to be. They want even more athletic ability. But if you go through all 32 teams, you look around the league. These guys, even the ones that are statuesque, don't like to necessarily run. If they have to, they are doing it a lot more. They're taking what you give them. They're willing to sit there and say, okay, I got to get out of here. If I don't, I'm going to give up a sack. So I think teams now are pushing their quarterback more to take off and run, and some are elite, some are just good, some are average, and some are below average, but you see all of them are starting to do it.
Yeah, and I just think that, well, and even like, so those quarterbacks you're talking about, the Staffords, the Goffs, those are teams that have invested heavily in either their offensive line, their running game, their weapons, or all three. And I just feel like those are quarterbacks that if you can put pressure on, like Stafford less so. I think Goff is a quarterback that has shown that when you pressure him, you can really fluster him. I mean, we saw it week 1 against Green Bay when the Packers just sent everyone after him, and he looked far less of a version of himself than the one in week 2 when the Lions dropped 50 points on the Chicago Bears. 2 totally different defenses that he was facing. Brock Purdy is someone that I think has a little bit of both. Obviously doesn't have the big arm. It doesn't have, 4.4 Kyler Murray type track speed, but he is someone that's quick enough to evade pressure, and I think obviously he has a good enough arm to deliver the football. Mac Jones is someone that while his arm might be better than Brock Purdy's, it's no question which quarterback is the one to lead this football team, and I just think that they work complementary, they work in complement to each other. Like Mac Jones is someone that I feel like when Brock Purdy has been out and will be out this week, he can win you a football game. That's his role on this team, is to be good enough to keep you competitive when Brock is out. And then when Brock Purdy's back, when the rest of this team gets healthy, he's the team that can raise, hopefully, the ceiling of this overall group.
Yeah, because it's very – I agree with you, but for me, it's can Mac Jones take – are you a good enough team to get to the playoffs with Mac Jones? I think so, because you look at your schedule and those things that surround you. When the days – think about when Jimmy G was here. You look at his ability to throw the ball. I think that Cal Shanahan rather have Mac Jones than Jimmy G. It's interesting, and so I get what you're saying, but then in reference, you're like, okay, and how far did Jimmy G take him? If you look at Mac Jones, his ability to make people miss, his throwing the ball down the field, who do you think's better, him or Jimmy G?
Mac Jones.
That's my, and so it's like, so how good can he be, or what can he do with this team? It depends on the team that he's with. If you got a great supporting cast and doing the things and your defense is great, and you ask Mac Jones to go out and win you football games and just stay within himself because everyone else is going to take care of their jobs, this guy can win. Now, you're talking about a guy that can change the trajectory. Then you're talking about, of course, we know that Brock Purdy can do those other things, get outside the pocket, scramble, do other things to make you look good. So it's just really interesting, just kind of looking at these two quarterbacks and what their strengths are and what their weaknesses are and what they bring to the table. You got it. Mac Jones does bring a leadership. He's got 50 games of start. He had 50 games in this league. He has won games. He has been to the playoffs. So Mac Jones is just not a hung tooth. This guy can win. He has won. So he is a quality quarterback.
Well, and this is the thing. It's funny you bring up Garoppolo and Jones. I do think there's some similarities between them. How's it going? The thing about it that was stunning to me about the first start for Mac Jones is that there was not much of a run game. It always felt, I think Garoppolo, sure, he had a couple of big performances, oddly enough, against the Saints, too, in New Orleans back in 2019 where he outshot the New Orleans Saints. But I think that was a quarterback that the running game always had to be present there. Right. Whereas for someone like Mac Jones, just because he's got a bit of a stronger arm, I think that he's just as comfortable in this offense. He's someone that showed that as long as you have a running threat, that he can kind of do the rest. I'm going to be curious today how they run the football. I think they need to run it better if they're going to beat the Cardinals. How Christian McCaffrey looks, how Brian Robinson looks, how many times they run the football. Because we were talking last week about how we thought that this would be a game where you're rushing it 40 times minimum.
They did.
And I was 100% with you. They didn't even get to 100 rushing yards, right. And they did not put the ball in the hands of the running back that much. McCaffrey was still a big part of the offense out of the backfield, but how this running game evolves over time, that's something I'm absolutely keeping my eye on.
So am I, and I want to see this zone read. We know that Cal Shanahan likes to stretch the ball and get the ball to the outside, to the perimeter, to make the defense run and have to cover every blade of grass. When you run that stretch play, because McCaffrey's so fast, he stretches and hits it, running behind Big Trent, and then one cut and get north and south or cut it back. I want to see that go. You have to have success, especially now because you have Mac Jones. Because if you stretch and then you try to boot, you've seen guys are staying home because they don't respect the running game. You see that outside in, he's staying wide, so you can't even, and because you're not getting enough push on the front side, and because you're not getting them running fast enough on the front side, they're not cutting it back, and they're not respecting the quarterback. They're not respecting the cutback, so they're keeping the wide 9, the guy on the end, he's staying home, and the quarterback, you watching the quarterbacks, they try to boot, and they're having to pull up real quick and get rid of the ball. So I want to see this running game run better. I want to see this run game become way more efficient. It has to be for this offense to be all it can be. Once this offense is to be all of it can be, that's when the run game is at its best. The play action, the zone, getting to the perimeter, making defenses run to stretch. Now you create that bootleg for the quarterback. So I, too, am with you. I want to see this run game pick it up, and they need to pick it up big time.
Well, and because naturally you're as a backup quarterback, you might see some inconsistent performances. Are we going to get the same Mac Jones as last week? I hope so. But you look around the league at some of the backup quarterback performances, and a lot of it makes you go, wow. For example, right now at the half in Minnesota, Carson Wentz, his team has 34 points. The backup Jake Browning, who actually has more experience as a backup quarterback recently for the Bengals, only has 3 points. They're getting their doors blown off. You're looking around the league, and
what about that Philly game? Who's Philly playing?
Now, if I told you that the Rams were absolutely waxing the Philadelphia Eagles, you might tell me I'm crazy, but they have gone into Lincoln Financial, and they are up 26-7 right now. The LA Rams.
Everyone said Philly. I do not think Philly. I don't think Philly's.
I picked the Rams in this game. I didn't think it would be this bad, but I did think the Rams would go win that game.
You could hear all the shows. I've talked about the Rams should have beat them, could have beat them, and I looked at Philly. Philly very well could be 0-2. Philly, the Dallas Cowboys should have beat them. You drop a couple passes. They don't win that game. So Philly's going to have to figure out some things. I don't think it's the same Philly team. I think that they're going to have some problems. I don't think that they're as good up front in the trenches. I think teams are not letting them dictate what they do up front. Philly's front is one of the best, but they are giving them so many different things to look at. So they eliminate what they're strong at, and that's getting after you. So it's interesting just how the Rams are playing. I think just this league itself is going to be a shake-up this year. There's so much parity. I mean, teams that you didn't think would be in the position they are. Look at who would have thought that the Arizona Cardinals and the San Francisco 49ers would be undefeated. Who would have thought that, that Daniel Jones would have Indianapolis Colts at 3-0. Who would have thought the Indianapolis Colts would be sitting here at 3-0, and hopefully today, after today, you and I will say the Chargers are 3-0 and the Niners are 3-0. It's just the league. Everyone, and I heard Tom Brady, talk about different things, and guys talk about, okay, we're defending the Super Bowl. We're the Super Bowl. You are not the same team. And that's what everyone says. Oh, well, no, you change. You got free agents. You got other drafts. You can't say that we're defending. Look, what is it going to take this year to win a championship? Understand what we did last year. That's last year. People think, we favored to win. No, people are seeing what you did. What are you going to do to evolve? How do you get better? How do you stay focused? What is a different commitment? What are the little nuances and the little changes that you put in order to get back to this profession? You can't do the same thing over and over and think you're going to get the same results. You have to make sure that, do the same thing, but you got to tweak things. You got to continue to push, and you got to continue to evolve if you want to win championships.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why we felt like this conference and really the NFL as a whole was going to be a bit more open. And I'm not necessarily there yet, Lo, to say the Niners factor in as one of those top teams, but they are one of the undefeated teams. And there is pressure now, I think, mounting more so on this football game today, which kicks off again at 1:25. We'll have you locked and loaded on the kickoff show every single pregame for the 49ers this season on 95.7 The Game. But there's more pressure on this game because of what L.A. is doing in Philadelphia right now. And if this is a team for the Niners that you believe can get to the playoffs, the division is the path. And the Rams are going to play a tougher schedule this year. I think they're the best team in the division. But if you can just keep pace with them, then maybe in a couple weeks when you play them head-to-head, Can you steal one of those games? Do the Rams have a position where, Matthew Stafford goes down for a couple of games? You survived without your quarterback. Can they survive with Jimmy Garoppolo, who is their backup quarterback? You never know how the path is going to play out. And although I think we both believe the Rams are a better team than the Niners as currently constructed, you never know. It's such a long season that in week 2, it makes me feel like, or week 3, pardon me, that if the Niners can just continue to stack W's, this division might not necessarily be out of reach, because what right now is the equalizer between the two teams is the schedule.
Oh, without a doubt, the great equalizer is the schedule. You talk about, the Rams and their schedule. It's a lot tougher, and so you have an opportunity, especially when we talk about the quarterback position. If Stafford goes down, it's Jimmy G. We just alluded to Jimmy G. He's a serviceable quarterback, but does he make the Rams efficient?
Would rather have Mac Jones.
No question. So I think that you have an opportunity to go out here and shine. It's to go out here, and that's why you have to stay pace with the Rams. For one, you can't let you fall into a hole that you got to dig out of. So yeah, the Rams do have a little bit better team, but this Niner team, you can't look over your shoulder and say, okay, you got to say, we have to take care of the things we can take care of. And what's in front of us right now? What's in front of us right now is a team, is Arizona Cardinals, who are 2-0, that are in a good place, that are fighting for the division, that believes that they have a chance. They're coming to our house. We have to take care of business. We have a backup quarterback that we have to protect. We have to run the ball. We have to win the turnover battles. We're at home. That's what this Niner team needs to be focused on today. It's about who on this team are going to make plays offensively and defensively to give us the opportunity to say we're 3-0.
And what to me has been encouraging through 2 weeks is, doesn't matter which quarterback has been under center, they have minimized mistakes. I think defensively, we talked about it earlier, they haven't allowed a bunch of explosive plays. They've allowed very few, in fact. Offensively, they haven't made the critical mistake that their opponents have. They have forced them, the Seahawks and the Saints, into positions where they have to make the mistake. Obviously, in game 1, you threw those 2 interceptions, but the defense immediately got stops right after those picks, so they didn't really hurt you all that much. Against the Saints, the one fumble did lead to a touchdown for New Orleans, but you didn't make a critical mistake late in that football game. And in fact, I thought it was interesting that in the last 5 minutes of the game, the Niners could have closed the game out with their offense, but Mac Jones, Kyle Shanahan, they felt like the strength of this team, I believe, so far through 2 weeks, is the defense. So as long as Mac Jones doesn't put the ball in harm's way, as long as he doesn't take a sack, this is a defense that if we play the position game, they're going to close this game for us. And that's what's got me feeling better about this football team is they have multiple ways, it feels like, to close games. And the defense so far through 2 weeks has been the one to do it.
Yeah, and like you just alluded to, field position, ball control. And field position and special teams continue to play a big factor in this game. How do of course you said, okay, let's end with our defense. I don't want to end with their defense. So I get it. I understand they've been closing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, let's have the ball and let's get in 4 minutes. Let's figure out how do we run the ball? How do we find a way to be consistent? And if we have to throw the ball, in the 4 minute, how do we get the ball out of the quarterback hands quick? 5-10 yard pass, dink, dunk. How do you stay ahead of those things? That's what I want to see. I want to see if this team has the ability to say, okay, defense, the last couple of weeks you've carried us. We got to do some things. And I think it's there. And I know you don't have all your receivers. I know you don't have Kittle, your best tight end in the league. I understand that. And I do understand that. But how do you get by and your offense stay efficient, which it has been, but score and find a way to stay on the field and not necessarily keep your defense on the field? Because these reps, it wears and tears. Even though guys are getting better, you want your defense to stay fresh. So I would like to see the offense have some sustainable drives. I would like to see them get in 4 minutes or put the game out of hand so you don't have to be in 4 minutes. Because in the games, usually guys, injuries, they get tired, they get hurt, and especially defensively because defensively is playing so well.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at how they won their first two games. Like, I thought game one offensively was much more of a process-based approach. You controlled the ball for 37 minutes. The one thing that hurts you was the fact that your field goal kicker couldn't make a kick, and special teams really shot you in the foot. Week two, they didn't run the football as well. They only had 77 yards on the ground, and look, time of possession was much more even. Okay, so how can they sort of meld, I think, the first and the second game where special teams is a bit more shored up now? Your punter's pin has multiple situations where he's pinned opponents inside the 20, twice last week inside the 10. You got a new field goal kicker who's going to be able to maybe not knock down a 64-yarder like Brandon Aubrey, but he can get you 3 points inside of 40 or 30 yards. So offensively, now is this the game where Christian McCaffrey breaks out? I think that's something that as we move forward here on the kickoff show, we can get into. Is today the home opener, the game where you finally see that burst from Christian McCaffrey, the big play that everyone has been sort of alluding to but hasn't happened just yet? 1 hour from now until 1 o'clock, and then obviously 1:25 we have the kickoff between the Niners and the Cardinals. But this is the kickoff show, live at Laughing Monk Brewing, live in Sunnyvale, 1235 Oakmead Parkway, right next to the stadium. We got people playing ball toss, throwing footballs around, cornhole. We got prizes for you. There's even a dog that's out here who can't keep his tongue in his mouth because he's got no teeth. Evan Giddings and Lorenzo Neal coming to you live from Laughing Monk Brewing, 95.7 The Game, the kickoff show. We're back after this.
This is McGruff the Crime Dog, and I need you to help me take a bite out of crime. Another teenager, victim to fake pills bought from social media. This doesn't seem like a drug deal, but it definitely is. Should buying prescription pills be that easy? Many fake pills contain fentanyl, and an amount small enough to fit on the tip of a pencil can be lethal. So listen, before buying pills from social media, think again. Learn more at mcgruffpsa.org and go for real. Brought to you by USPTO and the National Crime Prevention Council.
And now, your Live Nation lineup.
Ice Cube at Oakland Arena, September 25th.
Back to the criminal set. I leave clue after clue, but the
Thomas Rhett at Shoreline Amphitheater, September 27th. Keith Sweat at Paramount Theater, October 4th. That was your Live Nation lineup.
For tickets and info, hit up livenation.com.
I've used drugs from the age of 15 till 29. I had no friends. I had no family. I wanted to quit because I didn't want to die. Since I've been in recovery, I could write a novel of the good things that happened to me. I finished college. I've held great jobs. It's never too late to recover from addiction. I am living proof that recovery is possible.
Get treatment. It works. To learn more, visit livingproofsf.org.
From Carriage House to glass aluminum doors, R&S Doors has a full line of commercial and residential garage doors and gates to suit anyone's taste and budget. Visit rsdoors.com. R&S Doors. Look for the red truck.
Losing weight shouldn't be a struggle, and with Jumpstart MD, it doesn't have to be. Start today for just $99 when you join Jumpstart MD's medically supervised weight loss program today. Licensed clinicians create personalized plans, including GLP-1 medications. No insurance? No problem. Jumpstart MD has options to meet your individual needs. With 13 Bay Area locations and online visits, expert support is always within reach. Call 855-JUMPSTART or visit jumpstartmd.com to start transforming your health today.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's, but that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Presenting Again Fling's love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me. But I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Summer's almost over, but the heat is pressing on. If you've got battery trouble, stop by AutoZone for free battery testing. It may just need a charge, and we'll do that for free too. If you do need a battery, we've got options starting at just $89.99. And we'll recycle your old battery for free. Now that's a strong start. Don't miss the end of summer sale. Now at AutoZone until September 22nd.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula? No. Coffee? No.
So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes. See? Doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely. Face tattoo? Absolutely not.
Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco, on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Now back to the kickoff show on 95.7 The Game.
This is the kickoff show live from Laughing Monk 125 Oakmead, Sunnyvale, California. Just right across the bridge from Levi's Stadium. We got Niners fans, Niners jerseys galore, prizes being given away right now. Football toss, we got cornhole in the back. Everyone having a good time before the Niners hopefully can go get a dub against the Arizona Cardinals.
It's unbelievable out here. I mean, the atmosphere is great. You got the buses. People are going to be shuttled to and from the game. They're over here getting a little libations. Some guys are double fisting it. They know they can jump on the bus. Going to take them to the game, back from the game. They're going to be set. Everyone is hype over here. This is great. Come down to Laughing Monk. Come have a beer with us. It's absolutely awesome. Niners 2-0. Playing against a team today, 2-0. Arizona Cardinals 2-0. Big game, big matchup. And the Niners have got to do it with the backup quarterback. Everyone's talking about, can Mac Jones show the magic again? Hey, guys, just relax. This guy's been in the league for, 5 years? He's played and started in over 50 NFL games. I don't think the moment's going to get too big for him. And guess what? He's playing at home in this stadium, and you know that place is going to be absolutely rocking today.
Oh, Levi's is going to be on fire. And
First
and
game
it's
home
literally
in 2
going to be
weeks,
toasted.
man.
Well, that's what's so crazy is when we were looking at the schedule, it's like, all right, home game, we got to wait till week 3. Damn.
Right.
Then the starting quarterback goes down. Damn. I did not think that we'd be walking in here with 2-0 undefeated football teams. You know, you think about the Cardinals, a squad that the last few years has been towards the bottom of the division. The Niners, a little ease-em-in type of division game. Well, no, because you already got one in Seattle. Now you have a chance to get a second. If I said to you right now that if the Niners win today, they will have won more division games in 2025 than they did in 2024, and it's week 3.
Wow.
They went 1-5 in the division last year.
1-5. That is, it's so hard to believe that this team went 1-5 in division last year. And the way they lost games, when they got on, when the offense had the ball, other teams, you just held your breath because they couldn't stop anyone. They were a sieve. They were inconsistent. They would have one good stop, and all of a sudden, teams would just take the ball and drive it down their throat. I can't believe right now they're 2-0 in the division. Today you have a chance to go up 3-0. This is a great opportunity. I'm going to tell you, I love saying it. Opportunity is never lost. It's given to someone else. The San Francisco 49ers have to take advantage of the opportunity that presents itself, and that's win at home. You always say, look, win at home. You're at home. You have a chance to win this football game, and knowing that you're controlling your destiny. This puts 49ers believe it or not, at a B. No matter what, they win this game today, you got a B for the quarter. You think about it. Your 4 games, next 4 is 8, next 4 is 12, 16. You think about this thing. You do it in the quarter system. You have a B. Win this week, you have a B. Win next week, you're at an A for the first quarter. Who would have thought this team would be sitting here in week 3, have an opportunity to be 3-0? You got to get there first, and they've earned the right to be 3-0.
Well, especially with the backup quarterback. And I want to hear from Mac Jones right now. So, Cam, back in studio, if you could, for the people, describe Mac Jones. Tell us why the word fix is not the word that you would use.
I feel like it sometimes has like a negative connotation. I think like you're just trying to grow and learn and do things better. So that's what I think it is. I don't think anything's broken. And when you hear fix, that's what you think, right? But in football, every week it's a new week. And the NFL, they don't care if you won last week or lost. It's a fresh slate, fresh canvas, and you got to go out there and paint a good picture.
And he's talking about when people say, well, did Kyle Shanahan fix you, right? And you talked about he's been in the league for 4 or 5 years. This is a guy who's got 50 starts under his belt now. Fix is not the word that someone like him is gonna think about. Now, for us, for media members, for pundits, did Kyle Shanahan fix Mac Jones? No, I wouldn't say he fixed him. If anything, he just extracted the talent that was already there. It wasn't something that needed to be fixed. It's just like it's just something that you have to kind of chip away at. You got to find what's at the bottom. And to me, Mac Jones, there's always obviously been talent there. But since his first year in New England, there hasn't really been anybody to extract it out of him. And that's where Kyle Shanahan comes into play.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fixed like you're saying. I don't know if you're saying just you trust a process. I think when you think about Kyle Shanahan's offense, everyone says what? It's a quarterback-driven offense. It's a quarterback-friendly offense. It's a system type of offense. If you look at his offense, the guys that play in the system, they tend to do very well because he knows what you got. It shows you what you're going to get. It tells you where you should go against certain coverages. And so, but people don't, they say, well, that's a system offense. Well, most offenses are system also, but the system that he teaches is saying, here's what you're going to get. When we do this, these are the coverages they're going to get, and here's where the ball should go. So, yes, it's a system, but it's a system that's worked through the period of time. So guys think it's easy. No, he makes it simple. And so I don't think he necessarily did he fix Mac Jones? No, I think what he's done is he simplified what he's already known, because quarterbacks drop back and they say, okay, what am I getting 2, 3, and all these things. What Kyle Shanahan, I believe, does in his offense, when he runs his stretch play, this is what has to happen. Why we run the boot? Here's what's got to happen. The safety, midfield, he's got to come down and play support, play force, because this is what the stretch plays look like. The other safety has to rotate to the middle of the field. Okay, when that happens on the play action, now we have a dig route on the opposite side that's coming across. So now it opens up. So the system itself dictates the type of coverage that it can get you. So that's why I think it simplifies what people want to do. It simplifies the offense, and people say it's fixing. No, it's not fixing anyone, but it's simplifying it for you, and it's showing you what they can do. So when you go elsewhere and go play at other teams and do those different things, because you know the facts and because you know what's going to happen, because it's attention to details, it makes it easier for you.
Well, there's no doubt that Kyle Shanahan has come under criticism, has come under fire, in big games, right? Whether it's because of play calls, maybe in unawareness about an overtime rule in the most recent Super Bowl. And I think just the fact that he hasn't won a Super Bowl in the biggest game makes people always feel like, all right, there's something more with Shanahan. There should be something more, but I think last game, and hopefully today too, is where you realize just how damn good this guy is at his job. Because if he gets a quarterback who he feels like has the proper skill set, can make the right reads, and can fit in his system, he can get the best out of them. And for Mac Jones, I don't think it's a coincidence that the first start under Kyle Shanahan, Mac Jones goes out and has his best statistical game of his career. And it isn't like he's making a bunch of tight window throws. He's not extending plays. He's just taking what's in front of him, and Kyle Shanahan is giving him the answers to the test. So as much as Shanahan, sure, has come under criticism for some big moment type of shortcomings, I won't say failures because he still got there, but shortcomings, he's also a guy that reminds us constantly that whether it's with Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, any quarterback, this man is going to get you results.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. If you are willing to trust it and say, I'm going to do what Shanahan is telling me to do, and here's what I'm operating that, I get rid of the ball quick because I know it goes here, 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 here. And when guys get in trouble, is they're waiting for that third and fourth option.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the difference is with Shanahan's offense. It's like, bam, this is what you come up and right away. Boom, take it away. That's what it does. So when you have quarterbacks that saying, okay, I already know where this ball should go first. I'm letting it rip and I'm letting it go, and they trust that process, that's where you see the percentage goes up. Now, when you think about, okay, now I'm not going to take that. I'm going to look at that second window. Now I'm going to go to that second window. Okay, the linebacker can drop a little bit more in that second window, but he can't get all the way back. So, boom, I got a good chance to get in there. Now when I get in that third window, guess what? That linebacker can be all the way in it. My third read, now he can be in that window. So when I throw it to this spot that I think it's going to be, now that linebacker's already dropped in and you get a pick. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's because guys understand what Shanahan is doing, and people talk about how simple. No, they're just saying, here's where it's going. Boom. So they take it, get rid of the ball, and they know where it's going. That first one, it makes it easy. Second, a little, it's not as easy. Third and fourth, it becomes harder because there's other things that can happen. So I think that's why this offense, you see quarterbacks be a lot more efficient because they go with the first read and they go with the read that seems easiest to get. And so people think that it could be easy, but I don't think it's necessarily easy. I think it's just following and taking what the defense gives you right away.
Well, and Herm Edwards was on Willard Dibs earlier this week talking about something that I think is sort of been synonymous with Shanahan and his team since he's gotten to the 49ers, and that's this mindset. Yes, they aren't champions. They haven't won a Super Bowl, but it doesn't mean they don't have a championship kind of mindset. So we could hear from the great Herm Edwards, Cam, just about how they've been able to remain at a high level, go 2-0, despite some of their injuries.
A champion mindset. There's no doubt about that with all the injuries, and they still sit at 2-0. And it's a division where everybody's 2-0 except Seattle. And it's looking to be, this is going to be a really nice division, a competitive division. But you said it, when you think about all the injuries going into it, and obviously Mac Jones just playing outstanding, but he had almost 300 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. And, and I can't say enough about the runner. It's always McCaffrey. I mean, get him going. That offense seems to play well. And defensively, they've done a nice job. Salah's back there now, and I think they're comfortable with him being the defensive coordinator. I think that gave this team a spark, especially on the defensive side of it. So they're sitting good. They got to get healthy. But, hey, when you're 2-0 and you don't have all your players, that's good football.
When you hear someone say championship mindset, like what comes to your mind, Lo?
Well, I think what he's saying is, here's a team that's been to the top of the mountain. Here's a team that expectations is set high because they've been there. They've been to several Super Bowls, and guess what? And they came up short in the last minute, last 2 plays, last play of the game, overtime. So they've been at the top, and they think that they feel that they should have won both of those Super Bowls. You can't tell them that they shouldn't have. So they believe that they're still a champion. They have the mind of a champion. They're saying they didn't lose. They think that that other team got lucky. So you watch the way this team plays. You listen to the rhetoric, and you listen to the way that this team talks and the things that they talk about. They talk about championship. They talk about the Super Bowl is in Levi Stadium this year. You hear guys saying that before they even played a game. They're like, man, this would be great to play it at home this year. This could be a home game for us. And when you start off not one, but now you're 2-0, that starts to become reality. So Coach Herm Edwards was talking about, hey, this isn't a champion. This team hasn't won a championship yet, but they have the mind of a champion because they've been so close. Their window to operate, they've been the cream of the crop. They've been in every conversation for the last 5 to 6 years. It's been the Niners, top of the list. And so just like Kansas City's 0-2. But they have the mind of a champion. We're going to see what they're about today. This is a game that, they're playing the Giants, and Giants up against their – I'm taking – if you're a betting person, you're like, it's no way Kansas City loses this game today. Just because the mindset of a champion, okay, guys, hey, Chargers are up 2 games. They might go up 3 games. The Raiders could go up. The Raiders are up on us. Denver's up on us. So I think you get to see the mind of a champion, and I think that's all Herm is saying. The position that you're in and what you have been through makes you have a mind of a champion, also make you have a mind of a loser if you've been on the losing end and you haven't won championships. Yeah,
I do think that the Niners are a team that obviously, but though they haven't won a championship, they've been damn close. Like they do have a championship mindset. The thing about this team that we're beginning to learn, and it'll unfold over time, is do they have championship talent? I think that's one thing that the 2019 squad and obviously the 2023 team had. They made the Super Bowl, but those rosters were really good. And I think we look back at the 2019 team even more fondly. In real time, they might have, been a team that the year before, 2018, you missed the playoffs. You take the league by storm, go 13-3, en route to a Super Bowl, nearly beat the Chiefs. You don't, but we look back and say, well, Fred Warner, he was young, but Fred Warner was a really good player. Nick Bosa, it was just his rookie season, but that guy's on a Hall of Fame track. George Kittle was already established at that point. Deebo Samuel, though it was his rookie season, obviously developed into a great talent for the 49ers. So that was a team that kind of took people by surprise, but we figured out in looking back on it that had a really high level of talent on that team. This team, I think we're still figuring that out. To me, the defense is the place where I have questions, not necessarily about if they're good or not, but how good they are. I think that's the side of the ball, to me, Lo, that has the chance to take leaps, whereas the offense, it's just been difficult to assess because of how many guys have been out.
Yeah, it's been difficult to assess how many guys have been out, but it's also interesting just to see how the offense is as an offensive unit, but up front in the trenches, how consistent they are. We know who McCaffrey is, you know who Purdy is, but what do you know? And we know Kittle when he's well, but what have you seen? Do we have a receiver that you can say this is a true number one? How is when Brandon Ayuk come back? How is Ayuk going to play? Is he going to be Ayuk of old? Is he that true number one that we saw that that said, hey, let's pay him this money? So that's the thing. I understand the defense can make leaps and bounds and those things. I agree with you. I just don't know how good this offensive line really is. I just don't know how good this receiving core really is. We know how good the tight ends can be, Kittle can be. So it's just going to be interesting when this offense, when it gets everyone back and everyone is healthy, how good can it be?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And again, that's the reason why we're looking around the rest of the NFC right now, and obviously Green Bay's 2-0, Philly's 2-0. They're in a dogfight right now with the Rams. The Cardinals are 2-0, and the Buccaneers are 2-0. How good are all these teams? I feel like the team that's the toughest to look at and say how good they are is the San Francisco 49ers, and it's because of the amount of injuries that they've sustained. I think that the Cardinals are a team that, yes, they're 2-0, but I'm not so sure they're a team that can take that next step. Right. Tampa Bay has been there before. They've won the division 4 years in a row. I think I have a pretty good idea of how good they are. Philadelphia might be tough, but it's just because they have a Super Bowl hangover. Right. Green Bay we both really like, and then the Rams are obviously top-notch. The Niners are the one undefeated team right now in the NFC that I feel like it's the toughest to put your finger on and say that team can go this far or this team is eventually going to get discovered. I don't think they're phonies. I think they're for real. But because of what has befallen them as far as injuries, they're the one undefeated squad load that I'm just like, damn, I do not know how good this team is.
Yeah, nor do I, and it's unfortunate. I mean, well, it's a good thing.
It's fun too.
It's fun because they're winning. And it's fun. They're in a great place. But I nor do I. I don't look at this team and says, oh my God, this team is the favorite in NFC. Like 3 or 4 years ago, you're like, oh man, the Niners are the best team in football. You don't know, and that's the part that it's tough for us to really come to a conclusion to say, oh man, the Niners, they got the best defense in football. Oh, this team, you can't run them. Oh, you can't pass on them. We don't know because we haven't seen them get home necessarily a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that they have a bunch of sacks. They've gotten sacks at the opportune time when they needed to get a sack. Guys are making plays, but at times they're not getting home. So and then you haven't seen the offense play at a consistent basis. So you don't know. And so I agree with you. I too understand. Here's a team that's 2-0, and all the teams that are 2-0, I don't think, like you said, Arizona's for real. But it's like this Niner team. You're like, what are they? Because they haven't been at full strength. We don't know how good they really are. But the other ones, we got a good idea who the Rams are. You know who Philadelphia Eagles are. You can look at those other teams in the NFC and say, I think we have a big enough body evidence of work. Tampa Bay's always been right there. They've been winning their conference. So it's going to be interesting because I too don't know how good this team is and how good they are once they're fully healthy.
The one thing that I actually have changed my mind on a little bit is coming into the season, I thought that the division would be good. I thought there was a lot of even teams after the Rams. I thought the Niners, the Seahawks, and the Cardinals were all on paper relatively even. Now it's starting to look like this division as a whole might be the best division, not just in the conference, but you're looking around the rest of the NFL, and because of some of the injuries that have hurt other groups, the AFC West, I think, is looking pretty solid, but the Chiefs, part of me, are 0-2. I think the Raiders took a step back, obviously, against LA last week.
Right.
You can make a case that this division, the NFC West, it's 2 weeks, but it might be the best division in football, and if not, it's certainly one of the best.
Yeah, that shocked me because several weeks ago, we came on and I was like, no, it's not. And you made the case if Sam Darnold gets hurt, who wins it? What's it like? So you're right there. And it's I think.
Well, I thought it would be a division of parity, but Powers they got some good squads.
They do. When you think about Seattle went neck to neck with the Niners, could have went either way. If you think about Arizona, they're undefeated. You look around and you say, man, these teams, the Rams are undefeated, the Niners are undefeated. They've been battling and they've been playing great games. And these teams, they haven't been blown out. None of these teams have been blown out. So. It is. It's a tough division, and it may be on paper, and also just may be one of the better divisions. I don't think in this division, the difference is I don't think it's got the firepower that Detroit, that the Cowboys. I don't think it has that. Now it plays better defense, but I don't think it has a scoring power of those guys.
That's totally fair. And of course, if Washington has their quarterback, that's also a pretty dangerous team out there too. Hell, I mean the Giants hung 37 points on the Cowboys last week. Defense ain't too good, but I didn't know Russell Wilson could still throw for 450 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, he was letting that thing go. He was like, he was just throwing that deep ball. He was throwing that deep ball pretty, that thing just arching, rainbowing in there, dropping right in the bucket. So I'm very, very surprised with Russ. Let Russ cook. I think Russ's days are numbered. I agree. I think that's why you've seen him play so well, because he wanted to get keep the starting job.
Might have got another week.
I think he bought another week, but the young guy, he can scramble, he can move, he can throw the ball. He creates more opposition for defenses because he can scramble and do more things than Russ can. But Russ still throws a great ball. But the NFC, it's tough. I'm just happy that the Niners are in this thing. We're in 2 weeks in this season. You couldn't have a better record. They're 2-0. You have an opportunity to go 3-0. And, with the first quarter, you're 2 games from being out of, from the first quarter of the season. And they're undefeated right now. And so I think that this team you got to be happy with what you've been doing, especially with the injuries that you've acquired, and you got to be happy with the results, but you're not happy with the injuries because you do need these guys, especially the guys, the Kittles and the Brocks, the guys you have out. You need those guys healthy if you're going to get where you think you can go, and that's playoffs and possibly Super Bowl.
And when we come back on the other side, I do want to play for you some of that Brock Purdy sound from earlier this week. This was something that it was like, is Kyle Shanahan tipping his hand? Is he not really telling us what's going on? The fact that an injured quarterback still spoke at the podium on Friday was like, is Brock going to play? Is he not? Officially has been ruled out for this game. Also, Juwan Jennings officially ruled out for this game today, the home opener between the San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals. So we're going to play that sound for you on the other side. We're also going to go around the NFL, talk about some of these matchups. Ones from last week we got right, we got wrong. How are we feeling after 2 weeks in the NFL heading into week 3? The Niners got their home opener. We are live here at Laughing Monk, of course, at 1235 Oakmead Parkway, right next to the stadium. You can hop on by for the future. Go to 957thegame.com, click on the kickoff show link to get your spot on a shuttle. It takes you from the bar from the brewing company right to the stadium and back before and after games. People are out here playing as the sun is now finally out. Kids, families, it's all fun down here at Laughing Monk Brewing. So again, one more break. Get on down. If you have some time, stop by, grab a pop. If you want to watch games here, also a fantastic spot to watch all your football all Sunday long. That's Lorenzo Neal. My name is Evan Giddings. One more break here on the Kickoff Show. We're back after this, 95.7 The Game.
Hey, it's Joe Shasky here for Ceremony Ford, and let me keep it real with you. If you've been thinking about making the switch to an electric ride, now is the time to pull the trigger because Ceremony Ford in Colma is ending the summer with some heat. So check this out. Slide into a brand new 2025 Mustang Mach-E for just $225 a month on a lease. That's right, $225 a month for 36 months. Or if you're ready to buy, lock in 0% APR financing for 72 months and grab a $2,000 rebate. Who else is giving you that? Only Ford. But here's the kicker. The federal EV tax credits on Mach-E and the F-150 Lightning are about to expire September 30th. You wait, you lose. Don't let Uncle Sam keep your money. Ceremony Ford has one of the biggest inventories in Northern California, and they're ready to hook you up. Find them right off at 280 in Colma or online 24/7 at ceremonyford.com. That's Ceremony Ford, the Bay Area's Mach-E superstore. Tell them Butcher sent you.
Comcast Business High Five Hotline. What's the state of your excitement?
I signed my business up for the 5-year price lock guarantee, and I can't stop high-fiving people. High five!
Okay, deep breath.
High five.
You're in a good place. You signed your business up for 5 years of gig speed internet and advanced security, all on our ultra-reliable network.
Gig speeds and advanced security? I'm so stoked.
Yep, and you get it at a great rate that's locked in for 5 years.
Woo!
The high five is just your body's way of saying, I'm winning.
So this is natural.
High-fiving everyone you see in a state of business savings enthusiasm? Totally natural.
Sweet! Thank you! Thank you! High five, everybody! High five!
The Comcast Business 5-year price lock guarantee is back, but only for a limited time, so sign your business up today.
High five!
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 9/21/25 for new customers with qualifying bundle. Current customers may be eligible depending on services and area. Guaranteed rate applies to monthly service charge, excluding taxes and fees. Other restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Discover Terra Madre Americas, one of the world's most exciting food events, coming to Northern California for the first time this September 26th through 28th. Dig into good, clean, and fair food for all with chefs Alice Waters, Sean Sherman, and Jeremiah Tower. Hear music from The War on Drugs, Spoon, Big Head Todd and the Monsters, Jade Bird, and Passion Pit Solo Acoustic. Savor the journey of Terra Madre Americas, only in Sacramento. Details on TerraMadreUSA.com. Terra Madre Americas is supported by Sacramento International Airport and brought to you by Slow Food and Visit Sacramento.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next-day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer. Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. That bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Join Lorenzo Neal and Evan Giddings at Laughing Monk Brewing in Sunnyvale every red and gold home game this season for our special live pregame broadcast. Plus, we'll have tailgate games, prizes, great food, and drink specials. For more information, visit 957thegame.com.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of the best. Our team travels the world to see diamonds up close, in person. We handpick each one for its unique fire, brilliance, and scintillation. Diamond buying is an art. Of course, we look at cut, color, clarity, and carat, known as the 4 C's, but that's not all. We also look at how each diamond looks on a hand, where it will be worn, how it makes you feel, and if it's worthy of a Shane Company customer. That type of expertise only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. We also think about your budget. We only pick the best in each grade in all shapes and sizes. Your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Do you often worry you left the garage door open? With a LiftMaster garage door opener powered by MyQ, you'll never worry again. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage from your smartphone anytime, from anywhere through the MyQ app. As an authorized LiftMaster dealer, Ace's Garage Door Repair and Installation has smart openers designed for your needs, including belt drive motors for ultra-quiet operation, integrated camera for live video, streaming, and battery backup to let you in when the power is out. Trust Ace's Garage Door Repair and Installation for top-notch service and unbeatable reliability. Whether you need a quick fix, a complete replacement, or a brand new installation for your garage door or garage door opener, our skilled technicians are here to get the job done right. With competitive prices, a commitment to quality, and diamond certification, Aces has you covered. Call today at 855-588-2237 or visit acegd.com. That's acegd.com, Ace's Garage Door Repair and Installation, where your garage door is our priority.
Now back to the kickoff show on 95.7 The Game.
All right, one more break here before we get you out. Of course, the Levi's Stadium 125 kick between the Niners and the Cardinals. Week 3 battle of undefeateds. Second division game for the 49ers. Lorenzo Neal, Evan Giddings, live at Laughing Monk Brewing. And this is why the NFL is the best, because we're talking about what can happen today, what's going to go down, Mac Jones, Kyler Murray, the X's and O's, all that stuff. We'll get to our predictions at the end, but you look around the NFL, and sometimes you realize you don't actually know much.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking at some of these scores right now. I would not have thought that Carolina is going to be up 27-0 on the Atlanta Falcons.
What?
I would not have thought that Carson Wentz has right now put up 48 points for that Minnesota Vikings offense against the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, there's some things that you just cannot predict, and on Sunday when it goes down, you realize, wow. The NFL, not for long, man.
Right, exactly. That one surprised me. Carson Wentz, here's a guy that everyone thought, we were talking with Matt, who is a big-time Philadelphia born and raised native. When he was there in Philly, everyone thought Wentz was going to be the savior. This guy comes in, he's taken off, blows out his knee. You have a backup quarterback, wins the Super Bowl, beats Brady.
Yep.
Wentz gets out, departure. Wentz's career comes turns around for the worse, becomes a backup, and it's just interesting now to see this guy backing up in Minnesota, putting up a 41 burger, to see how they're handling this game. 48, I'm sorry. Now I looked at the score, 48-3 against the Bengals. Pretty amazing. And who would have thought the Carolina Panthers, a team that you and I thought that was going to get motorboated today, is up on a team, Atlanta, that people think a playoff team, 27-0. Just unbelievable with the way that the league is and the way the league works. You just never know. And that's why you play the game, as Herm would say. That's why you play the game. That you play to win the game. And, Bucks were up big on the Jets. And here's the Jets with the backup quarterback coming in. And
Tyrod Taylor,
and making a game of it, making it a one-score game. So it'd be interesting to see what happens around the league, though.
Well, and speaking of backup quarterbacks, in the Falcons-Panthers game, Michael Penix has been benched. He threw 2 interceptions in that game. Kirk Cousins is
baby.
Right now playing, I shouldn't say bench, but obviously taken out with the game being sort of insurmountable. Kirk Cousins is in. So we got backup quarterbacks all across the league. We got, obviously, Mac Jones starting for the 49ers. You look at Tyrod Taylor, who we just mentioned, for the New York Jets. A battle of backups in Minnesota between Carson Wentz and Jake Browning. You're looking at, right now, Kirk Cousins, who's on the field for the Atlanta Falcons. Backup quarterbacks in Washington as well. Marcus Mariota is leading his team right now, 34-16. Commanders on top of the Raiders. There are backup quarterbacks all across the entire league that are playing, and sometimes, in some cases, flourishing for these teams.
They really are. I mean, here's a backup quarterback that started. We got to talk about it again. Jones. Daniel Jones.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Daniel Jones.
Yeah, you're running at it. You run this guy out of New York, and he's got this team 3-0, the Colts 3-0, playing well, throwing the ball for over 300 yards one of the games he has. And just watching these backup quarterbacks, like you're saying, the Raiders playing with their starting quarterback, Geno, and you got Mariota taking him to the woodshed, up 34-16. So it's just interesting. And today, the Niners quarterback, another Jones, Mac Jones, is going against a starting quarterback in Kyler Murray, and everyone thinks, okay, well, Kyler Murray is a better quarterback, should beat him. And it's not so fast. Hold the press, because you look at Mac Jones, this guy's played in over 50 NFL games. He understands the importance of, watch out for that ball. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's come on.
Coming in left and right.
You got the officials over here throwing balls and blowing whistles. We need to blow a whistle on you for that. And watching Mac Jones today, seeing the way he's got to operate within that system, I can't wait to watch to see how Kyle Shanahan leads him out there. What does he have in store? Is this a game that they're going to take shots down the field because he can't throw the long ball? He can throw the long ball. He can throw it to the outside. He can throw it outside to the perimeters. He can throw any ball. So it'd be interesting to see what Shanahan has up his sleeve for the Dirty Dozen.
Well, I think it might look pretty similar to what happened last week. I mean, I think that the thing that's always impressed me about Shanahan's system is when properly executed, the play can be run by anyone, for the most part. Now, obviously, there are varying degrees of success. There are varying degrees and talent levels as far as what you can get on a consistent basis. But I think that's what has always stood out to me about his system is that if you run it the way that he envisions it, it does not matter if you have the greatest quarterback or a backup quarterback. It doesn't matter if you have a backup wide receiver or a number one type talent. It doesn't matter maybe even if George Kittle is not on the field for specific plays. That's the beauty of Kyle Shanahan's system. And so today, I think the biggest challenge the Niners are going to have is their defense. To me, the kind of question that they have to answer is less to me, Lo, about Mac Jones than it is this defense going to be fast, dynamic enough as they've looked through 2 weeks to keep Kyler Murray in check? Because last year, I thought that Kyler looked markedly better than he had in the previous couple of years. And this is a guy that when you let him get loose, I mean, shoot, it was the first drive of last year's first game at home against the Cardinals, where he took it 50 yards to the house right from the midline. He was pointing his finger up to the high heavens.
Right.
I'm taking this to the Baja.
Right.
So is this a defense that is different and dynamic enough to keep him in check?
Well, they have to. You're a defense that feeds off of getting off the field and making teams drive the length of the field. When you drive, 3 yards, okay, 2 yards, your defense, they got to the ball. That means they got off the field quick. That means that they stopped the play. So it's not like a 30-yard play where you're running trying to catch the defender or the receiver or the ball carrier. It's a 2 seconds, a 3-second play. You can stay fresh. When you give up these long drives or 10 yards here, 7 yards here, 20 yards here, 10, you start to wear down the defense. The key today is, limit these plays, limit it to the 3rd and long like you did last week. Make the teams earn their drives. Don't give up a 40-yard like you're saying. Last year, Colin Murray, a 50-yard, he points at the end zone on a busted play. He runs, boots out, and no one's there. No one's home, and it's 60 yards down the field, touchdown. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't make it easy on this Arizona Cardinal teams because they're not good enough to make long, sustainable drives. You have to make them earn everything. You cannot let this team have big plays because it can be a nightmare.
Exactly. And look, and then so the one thing also, too, offensively, and it's less about Mac Jones to me than it is about the running back behind him. Is this going to be the first game where we see this year Christian McCaffrey break one? And I'm not talking about like an 80-yard touchdown, but his longest run this year so far, low, is 13 yards. That's not very Christian McCaffrey-esque. At the beginning of 2023, his very first game of the season, he had a 60-plus yard touchdown against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it was the lightning strike was immediate. So I do wonder if, is Christian McCaffrey taking a step back? Is it the offensive line not being as good? Is it because also they don't have a ton of receivers that are also involved in the blocking game as the way Shanahan likes to use them? Or is Christian McCaffrey just kind of not had an opening because other teams know that if they take him away, then this Niners offense without Kittle, now without Juwan, is going to be more limited. So I am looking to see here against the Cardinals if this is going to be the first game where McCaffrey really starts to look like the McCaffrey from a couple years ago.
Yeah, I hope so, but I think what these teams have done, they said let's put 8, 9 guys in the box and let's make them earn it. When you think about Christian McCaffrey, when he's on his best, when he's really doing, when you can spin the ball around and you have receivers and weapons that you got to go too deep and you got to double guys, and now you have to cover every blade of grass, that's when the Niners, and that's when McCaffrey is at his best. If you line up and saying, look, let's force us to beat them outside, let's put 8, 9 guys in the box, so now there's an open free defender. Yes, can McCaffrey make those guys miss? Yes, at times. But when it's an unblocked guy and McCaffrey's not down the field and you ask him to make guys miss in the hole, that's pretty tough. So I don't think that it's McCaffrey has lost the step. The guy takes great shape. He's in great shape. He takes great care of himself. I don't think that he's not in shape, and I don't think that it's him slowing down. I think right now teams are saying, make them beat us with the ball. Let's, stay home. This guy wants to cut back. They got to do a better job on the backside, cutting off guys, not letting guys come across, because McCaffrey's a guy that wants to stretch and get back. You have to do a better job. Backside cutoffs, because backsides becomes the front side, especially when they're running the ball. I
also think, too, that McCaffrey, along with the Niners, because we've seen Shanahan use him a little less in terms of total snap count. Now, 31 touches in week 1 was a lot, but the amount of snaps that he's on the field, the percentage has been lower than in years past. I also wonder, too, if McCaffrey is approaching each week like, as long as I'm on the field, my team has the best chance to win, even if I'm not going 100% every single play. I can still impact the game out of the backfield as a pass catcher. I can still help out as an extra blocker for my quarterback. There are things that McCaffrey can do, but if he's trying to, again, just go pedal to the metal every single play, at his age, this might be a particular matchup where okay, I just got to get through this, preserve myself, because over the course of 17 games, if I play 15, we can win 85% of those games. Also, shout out to Laughing Monk Brewing. Shout out to our guy Ethan Milner, who is about to hook it up with. You just asked for garlic, right? You asked for garlic.
So I'm letting the listeners look. I'm letting the listeners see what's going on right now at the Laughing Monk.
Yeah, this is what's happening.
Look at this. You guys should come down here. Look at these garlic parm fries right here. Look at that. I mean, this is going to be, it's going to taste so good.
What's your name, my man?
When it touches my lips.
Kevin, thank you so much.
Yeah, Kevin hooked us up.
Yeah, appreciate you, big dog.
We got the wings. We got it all right here, dialed up with the little ranch. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, but look at this right here. Kevin brought us these great wings. You can see the parm. Look at that. That is going to be absolutely amazing. We are hit down here at the Laughing Monk. We're hanging out. This is a great place to come and eat, to come enjoy. We got the officials out here. I don't know how good our officials are at times. They want to blow the whistle. They call penalties. They're throwing flags out here. They're calling people out. This is a great time out here. Laughing Monk had buses take people to the stadium. Yep. Also going to bring them back to get your car. This is a great setup that they have out here. But getting back to the game, when you're just talking about just this Niner team, what it means to them today, it shut down the run. You talk about keys to success. You cannot let Connor get going, because if he's running well now, if you start crashing down and trying to stop him, Murray's going to pull that ball, and now you got that bootleg, because that backside we talk about become the front side. Now your defensive end and all the backside are crashing down, and once they crash down, he pulls, and now he's got that 50-yard touchdown again that you're talking about. You have to take that away with your front side. You got to create a new line of scrimmage. That means your edge guy, that defensive end, has to set a hard edge and get across the line of scrimmage, because now you shut down the stretch play. Now you have to cut back. And you have to, the quicker you can make the running back cut back, that means the quicker the backside and people can make tackles, because if you let him stretch, now you start to move the whole defensive front, and the quarterback can boot. Now he has a new line of scrimmage. He has a clean alley. So that's why it's imperative when you're playing against a stretch team, zone team, you got to stop the edge right away, make it tight in the phone booth, for now your backside end can stay home, because we know Kyler Murray wants to pull it, he wants to boot, now they can throw it and do other things. Make this team one-dimensional. The key success is make Kyler Murray, make him beat you in the pocket, not from outside the pocket, not by moving the pocket. Make him stay in the pocket where you get hands up, bat down balls, keep him confined in there. Don't let him move the launch point. Make that pocket collapse on him and shut down the run game. That is it. You shut down the run game and keep him in the pocket, make him beat you throwing, hats off. You tip your hat and say he just beat us today if you can make him do that.
And that's where something that I'm taking my chances with Kyler Murray. If this is someone who is at the helm of an offense that's not rushing for more than 100 yards between him and Connor, I like my chances. I think that Kyler Murray is not a quarterback that is going to beat you by throwing for 350 and 3 touchdowns. He's just not. Even though he's got some weapons to do it, we heard him say earlier this week about Marvin Harrison Jr., who is one of the most talented wide receivers there is in the league. Well, some weeks he might get 8 targets, other weeks he might get 2. This is not a guy that is going to silo in and basically stare down the barrel of a gun at his wide receivers and force feed them the ball. It doesn't matter how much talent is on the field. I just don't think that he can do it. Trey McBride is someone who is obviously an incredible playmaker through the air for the Cardinals, but Kyler Murray, to me, Lo, just does not have what it takes to be the prolific pocket passer that his arm talent might tell you that he can be. So if he, along with James Conner, are, to me, less than 100 might be a little too low, but last year they were upwards of 140, 150. If you can keep them between them on the ground less than 110, 120 yards, I think this defense has absolutely done its job.
Oh, without a doubt. If you can have their all combined rushing for under 110, like you said, if you say, hey, Arizona had under 110 rushing, I think that the Niners win that game. That's total. That's combined.
Yes.
All the runners together, 110 or less. I think that you win that game. You have to find a way to shut down the run today. You cannot let this team be two-dimensional, because if they are, they can beat you. Because you know now that Kyler Murray, you've seen him. If he gets outside the pocket, this guy can scramble. He can scramble, and he can wear defenses out. And now you're asking the corners to cover, 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds down the field. It's too hard. That's not possible, and it's too much to ask of your defense to have those guys cover that long. So that's why I'm saying you got to find a way to keep him in the pocket and make him get rid of the ball right away.
Now, as we look around the rest of the scoreboard, we'll get into some of the later games. We got predictions coming up for you, and obviously the final predictions for the Niners and the Cardinals. 1:25 kick, Levi's Stadium. We're live here at Laughing Monk Brewing in Sunnyvale. Going through some of these games, because there's been a couple of I don't know if it's strange results, but certainly eye-popping figures right now. I think some of it has to do with backup quarterbacks. Some of it also has to do to, okay, right now we got 2 weeks of tape on your team. So everything that you've been trying to do, now we understand and can make our necessary adjustment. For example, I remember last year the New Orleans Saints, who are not a good football team, they were 2-0 after the end of 2 weeks, and they had put up, I think it was 90 combined points because that offense was humming, and obviously they only finished with 4 wins. So if you're going through the scores right now, Lo, what sort of stands out to you? We got Panthers hosting the Falcons, Browns, Packers, Jaguars, Texans, Vikings, Bengals, Patriots, Steelers, Eagles, Rams, Bucks, Jets, Titans, Colts, and Commanders and Raiders.
I think one of the games that I think it stands out because I think Cleveland should be a better team than what they've shown. They're 10-10 with Green Bay. And Green Bay's on the road. Cleveland's a team that can beat anyone on any given day. Their offense is their Achilles heel. Green Bay the last couple of weeks, even though defensively they look good, offensively I haven't really seen that offense be all that I think they can be offensively. So Green Bay, I think they're one of the better teams, if not one of the best teams in the NFC. I just don't know offensively when are they going to get clicking. Like when is that running game really going to show? Because I love Jake, how he runs the ball. He's physical. I love him, the runner they have. But that game kind of pops out on to me like, wow, I'm surprised. It's 10-10, and looking at Minnesota. I mean, even though you lost your quarterback, the Bengals. But to be down 48-10, I never would have thought that game would be that ugly that quick.
Well, and look, that might be a game that I know we're not talking about quarterback controversy in San Francisco, but you let Carson Wentz win a game or two, someone that has that has NFL experience, that once upon a time was a franchise quarterback. J.J. McCarthy, I know he's only had a couple starts. He's a rookie, he's supposed to be the guy. I think there might be a question there as far as what Minnesota is going to do at the quarterback position if Carson Wentz continues to produce, because McCarthy obviously is going to miss some time. Looking around, I mean, to me, obviously the matchup is L.A. versus Philadelphia. The one that stands out to me, though, in somewhat of a negative sense is I cannot believe the Raiders are getting trounced the way they are against Washington and Marcus Mariota, who, by the way, used to be a Raiders backup quarterback. The fact that the Washington Commanders are right now up 34-16. This is a Raiders team I thought that week one looked really good against a Patriots team that right now is driving and trying to give Pittsburgh all their money's worth. So the fact that Mariota steps right in, number one, has me looking at Pete Carroll and Geno Smith some sort of way. It also makes me feel like Mac Jones and this Niners team absolutely have a shot, and I think a good one, to win this football game, because it just goes to show, just because you have a backup quarterback, if you have the better team, that's what's going to take you over the top.
Yeah, what doesn't surprise me, I think when you think of the spot that they were in, when you think about the Raiders, they played Monday night, and then they had to travel. They're on a short week. You have to travel.
That's fair.
You're playing against the Commanders, who played on Thursday night, who's got 4 extra days to prepare and to get rest. I think they remembered, so they have a longer week. And the Commanders are a team that one of the better teams in the NFC. So, are the Raiders good? The Raiders are good. They're not a great team. So, I am kind of shocked that they're getting beat that bad. But I do think that the Commanders are just a good team, and they're going to be a formal opponent for anyone. Really, I'm shocked that the Rams had such a big lead, and now you see that this thing has turned into a dogfight that the Eagles have found a way to bounce back.
Yeah, no doubt. And then as far as looking ahead to the 1 o'clock games, we'll eventually get to Niners. We also have the Sunday night and the Monday night game we want to get to. But we'll start first with the first game that'll kick off between the LA Chargers and the Denver Broncos. Another division game in the AFC West, pardon me. I think probably right now, if you're looking outside of the NFC West, I think the AFC West has been the division so far that I would say would be right up there.
Yeah, so would I. I think that you look at what the Chargers and Denver, and what these teams are doing. I think it's going to be a big game for the Chargers. I think that you need to find a way to win that game. I would take Denver if they were in Denver, but since they're in L.A., the first
their home opener,
crowd's going to be in it because they've been on the road so long and found two games and they won 2. But you know what? You know that Denver's a tough team. They're coached well. Bo Nix, good quarterback. So I like the Chargers, but it's going to be a hell of a game. Want to see them win. And so that game I'm very interested in. And then that Seattle and the Saints game on the road, I just think Seattle is playing good football. They found a way to beat up on the Steelers. I like Seattle today as well.
Yeah, I think that the more we get removed from week 1, the better that win will look for the 49ers.
Yeah.
And obviously New Orleans is not a great football team, but Seattle's a squad that I just think what the Niners did to their offense, the Niners defense, I should say, it flying a little bit under the radar.
Agreed.
Just because that is a team that can run the football well. I think Sam Darnold is better than what he showed in that first week, and it's a football team that I think has aspirations certainly to compete and be in the mix for that division. All right, Chicago hosting the Dallas Cowboys. Kind of two organizations right now that are very much up in the air.
That you know what? You're absolutely right. The Cowboys find a way to win this game. I think Chicago. I just honestly, even when he came out of college,
something about the quarterback.
Something about the quarterback. I don't think he's the guy. I don't think that he's. I'm not there. And I know the new coach is putting pressure on him, and I don't know if he can handle it. I think that it's going to be interesting just to see how he plays. There's a lot of guys that you got to coach them with kid gloves on, and I just don't think Chicago. I think he's a talent. I don't think that he's going to stay there because you just brought your coach in. I don't think the coach is going anywhere. So yes, Dallas Cowboys find a way, and I think this game could get ugly.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that Caleb Williams. A little like Kyler Murray at the beginning of his career, a guy that can hit the home run but not hit a single. It's like he can make the spectacular play, he can make the fadeaway three-pointer, but then he can't hit a layup.
Right.
And you got to be able to make layups in this league. So I'm with you there. That's why I think that Dallas and that offense is eventually going to do enough to beat Chicago. And then Kansas City. This is the team. If they don't win this football game,
trouble.
They're not making the playoffs. And it's less about, okay, it's week 3 than it is we talked about it earlier, championship mindset. We believe they have it. They've shown it, obviously, for the past 6 years. And Patrick Mahomes is someone that in past years, well, he has never been 0-2 before, but if they were in a spot where they weren't looking good, where they needed to kind of right the ship, get back on track, that's the game they do it. So from that standpoint, if Kansas City does not win this game, I think it's because there's something else going on with that team.
I do too. Something about Patty Mahomes. I mean, yeah, he's still great, but I just don't see those big explosive plays with the consistency in which they used to do them. I think they just expect it to happen, and it's not happening. Their defense still plays pretty good. I just don't think that they run the ball as effective as they used to. They have to show me something today. And because the Giants are in a dire need, too, this isn't going to be some layup game. I think it's going to be a hard-fought, physical game. I think, I like Kansas City because they got grit of a champion, but I think it's going to be a hell of a ball game.
Yeah, I mean, and it's on the road. There's that aspect, too. I think Kansas City has too much pedigree to not win this football game. Okay, Monday night And that's the Sunday night game. Sorry, Kansas City at New York.
Yeah.
All right, the Monday night game, probably the best one on the slate this week.
I agree.
Outside of maybe Philly, L.A., is Baltimore hosting Detroit.
Yeah, and for me, that's a tough one. I think I love it because you're playing in Baltimore, AMT Park. I think that Baltimore just too much. I think that, Jared Goff's played well. I think the Lions, they got embarrassed that first week, and they came back and put a 50-burger on the Bears. I just don't think they do that. I think that King Henry and this Ravens team, they're going to be one of those teams standing at the end in the AFC.
I actually kind of like Detroit in this game, and the reason why is what Buffalo was able to do on the ground to Baltimore. And that's a game they obviously should have won. They're up 2 scores with 5 minutes left. But the way that Baltimore's defense has been susceptible to the run, I mean, that's where Detroit's bread and buttered. And Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, they're not going to put up 50 points like they did last week against Chicago, but I think they are better than what they showed, obviously, in Week 1. And the ability to control the clock against Baltimore, keep Lamar Jackson on the sideline and King Henry as well. I'm gonna veer a little bit. I'll take Detroit in this game.
You can, and that's fine, and I can understand that. But the difference is they don't have Josh Allen. Let me reintroduce myself. My name is Josh, and I'm from Fireball. Josh Allen, to me, he's right now, I think, one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in this league.
What's the only thing preventing you from saying that he is the best?
The only thing that prevents me from saying he's the best, I think that if you told me I could take a quarterback and everyone being healthy, it'd be hard for me to pass up Mahomes and hard for me to pass up Josh, and it's even getting harder for me to pass up Herbert. Only reason it's the hardest part is because Mahomes has won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, but if you said, hey, look, give me a quarterback, it's Josh. I think right now, Josh, honestly, I think Herbert is darn near Josh. He's healthy. His ankle's healthy. He's big. He's physical. I think the difference with Josh is just a little bit more physical. If Herbert was a little bit more healthier and I didn't think he'd get hurt, I'd probably go Herbert. But Josh Allen, to me, if you said give me one guy, because you can't stop him. And that's why I think Detroit, you're right. I think Detroit, if you put Josh Allen on Detroit, they might win the Super Bowl. Josh Allen's that type of quarterback because he's so big and so physical, and he does so many things. He can run. So that's the difference. So, So Josh Allen, he could be my best. He could be my best. I wouldn't be. I don't. He's on a very short list.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Couple of minutes left here on the kickoff show, live from Laughing Monk. We're out here every single home game all season long. Home opener, 49ers Cardinals coming up at 1:25, just a few minutes away from kickoff. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, to me, it's really just about the postseason for someone like Josh Allen. That Bills team, and I know it's only been 3 weeks, but they have looked absolutely unstoppable on offense. Like, it's funny you say that how big he is. It's like he's a one-man tush push.
He is.
Like, the tush push has been unstoppable for now a couple of years for the Philadelphia Eagles, but he's the tush push. You just give him the ball, and it's a, 4th down and 1, a goal line situation. You're getting in the end zone.
He's big. He's physical. He can scramble. He can run. He can take off and pick up 30, 40, 50 yards. He can run a touchdown. I mean, Josh Allen, man, I love his physicality, what he brings to the table. Josh Allen is different. He's built different. He's Superman without the cape. And Lamar Jackson, he does a bunch too. Lamar is a better runner, I think, but Josh is a more bold. He just bowling balls you. If you get Lamar, you can get him down. Josh can run over a safety, a linebacker. He's just got this it factor, something about him, man, end of the game. And I'm telling you, I think there's a guy that's getting ready. I think this year we're going to be saying the same thing is about Herbert. I think Herbert is going to make that step because he finally took down Mahomes. Everyone's been waiting for that signature type of win. He's had some, but now he's doing it, and he's got a defense to go with him. I really believe right now, I think Chargers, Baltimore, I'd probably put Bills because they have Josh and they just find a way. Probably I think that the Bills and the Chargers and Baltimore. I think that's my top 3 in the AFC right now.
Yeah,
Bills, Chargers.
I would agree with that.
Bills, Chargers, Ravens.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And then in the NFC, to me, the 3 teams that I would look at would be Green Bay, Los Angeles, and I have to throw Philly in there.
Yeah, you have to.
But the next tier to me is what the Niners, on a game like today, are trying to prove that they belong in.
Yeah, that next tier to me is got to be, you throw the Niners. Do you throw Detroit? Because Detroit to me is what the Niners are. Detroit is, they're a good team. They can score, but I don't know where their defense is.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas can score. I don't know what their defense is. So I got the Niners. I think the Niners, as far as consistency and just playing complementary football, that's why I got to throw the Niners in that space too. I'm with you.
Especially now that they've, at least for a time, it appears they've figured out the kicking situation. That was something that it may sound crazy, but I do have to weigh. I mean, last year they were the worst special teams unit in football. After week 1, it looked like they were going to be the worst special teams unit in football, and they managed to patch that up. So we'll see how it goes moving forward. But if you're telling me they got a kicker, their punter looks pretty good, their coverage has been solid, they're not killing themselves,
right?
Then it means that, to your point, I look at the Niners maybe not as an elite team, but they're a balanced team.
They are, and that's the thing you got to look at. You're just talking about. We already talked about the top 3, Philly, the Rams, and Green Bay. You throw them in there, and then you say, what's that next tier? Look at that next tier, and I don't think there's anyone that just jumps off the page. Of course, I think you look at the Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
You look at maybe we talked about the Detroit, and who's after that? Who is it?
Maybe Tampa Bay
and Tampa. And if you do those, then okay, is the Niners the next in that slot? Because I got Minnesota on the phone. I don't think that Minnesota's necessarily better. So I think the Niners are. They're right there, and that's in that second tier, mid or bottom of that second tier after those first 3 teams.
All right, 5 minutes left here in the show, Lo. 49ers, Cardinals. Which way are you leaning today?
Yeah, home game. If this game was in Arizona, I would take Arizona. This is a home game. I got to take the Niners. I think you're going to see the Niners come out, and I think they're going to score. I think that they're going to be a little bit more aggressive. I think that they understand that they understand that Arizona want to keep it close and have Kyler with the ball in his hand to scramble around and do some stuff and wear him out. I don't see that happening. I think the Niners keep him in the phone booth, make him win within that phone booth. Good game. I got Niners 24-17.
24-17. Yeah, I mean, I think it's got to be in that range. Not that Mac Jones can't put up 27 points for a second consecutive week, but I just feel like this defense is going to have a bit more success than New Orleans at getting him on the ground. So I think if the Niners can hold the Cardinals, which I believe they can, to under 20 points, I think they win this football game. I'll take them 21-17, maybe 24 to maybe 24-21. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a field goal game, much in the way the first two have. I think the difference is, as opposed to last year where they could not get James Conner and the Cardinals off the field,
right.
I think this defense is different to be able to not allow the Cardinals to just run the ball down their throat and shrink the clock.
And that's what it's going to be predicated on today. If they can't stop Conner, then they lose this ball game.
Yeah.
If you let Conner run and get free, then you're in trouble. If you shut him down, keep him under 80 yards, and and Murray gets 30 yards on that, you're going to be fine. It's going to be a hard fought game. I just really believe that it's going to come down to the defense. Defense has to make some plays. Offensively, I can see this thing 27-23, like you said. I don't think 30. You're not going to have to get to 30. But I do believe, get the first team to, I always use that number, first team to 21, I think kind of wins this ball game.
Wow, and a couple of shocking results coming through here as we're talking about some of the best NFC teams. 2 of them, in our minds, knocked off today. So Cleveland scores 13 fourth-quarter points to beat the Green Bay Packers in Cleveland 13-10. And then Philadelphia, after going down 26 to, I believe it was 9, they come all the way back and they beat the Rams 33-26. They scored 26 in the second half.
Wow.
I mean, that's That's the heart of a champion right there.
Yeah, and be honest, we needed Philly to win. You want the Rams. I mean, if you're a Niner
Opportunity
fan, you
now.
got to be like, okay, what does this do for the Niners? But also, what does this do for the Cardinals? Because both these two teams don't think they're not in the locker room watching this game and saying, okay, guys, we're playing for first place. One of these two teams will be in first place after today. So if you're the Niners, why not us? Who has it better than us? Nobody.
Well, and that's, again, it puts a massive amount of pressure on this game. Like you said, whoever wins this game will be in first place in the NFC West at the end of today. And again, for the Cardinals, for the Niners part of me, we talked about you didn't think they'd be 2-0. I don't know if after 3 weeks I would have had them certainly at the top of the division, but that's the opportunity that lays in front of them.
Yeah, it really does, and especially after watching that, watching the Rams go down, the gate's wide open. This is a huge opportunity for the San Francisco 49ers, and those guys know that. You got to seize this moment. You're playing at home. The Niner faithful is going to be there. This place is going to be rocking. You have to find a way to win this game. You have to shut down the run. You have to win the turnover battles. In your kicking game, special teams need to be big. This is a huge game for the Niners, to make it go 3-0. This could be huge.
Well, thank you to everyone that came out, that showed up to Laughing Monk Brewing, everyone that has chimed in, that has tuned in on YouTube, everyone that's listening on their way. First ever home game and first kickoff show live at Laughing Monk Brewing here in Sunnyvale, 1235 Oakmead. Get on down here. We'll be out here for every single home game this season. 3 hours before kickoff, you can go to our website, 957thegame.com in the future. The kickoff show link will get your tickets for just $25. You can get a shuttle to and from the game. You don't have to worry about parking in the parking lot. We got great food, great drinks, great company, so come out for the future. But in the meantime, we'll send you off to Fox Sports Programming, and then overtime with Mark Grandy and Sterling Bennett after the 49ers and the Cardinals conclude. The winner will be number one top dog in the NFC West. So for Lorenzo Neal, my name is Evan Giddings saying so long from Laughing Monk Brewing. You've been listening to the Kickoff Show on 95.7 The Game.
Bang, bang!
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. I know finding a dream engagement ring can be overwhelming, but don't worry, we got you. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond at Shane Company is truly the best of